Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you.
I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThATuMBRELLAgUY. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me. I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me. I'm a man.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Chase dreams, I'll chase money. It's so funny, nothing you can take from me. I chase dreams, I'll chase money. I go dummy, everybody hate to love me. Why? I chase dreams, I'll chase money. It's so funny, nothing you can take from me. One deep, like sweet, like honey. I go dummy, everybody hate to love me.
Just my silence, ghost riding the whip, the mask up, live ender, boxing up your threats and returning them to sender. Step into me, you better bring your nation as I wreck you to the population. It's that umbrella guy on the verbal flamethrower, notching up the belt, not just some lame shower, cranking up a stream just to show what's beneath. I'm masked up, baby, but I'm still sporting teeth. With one bling to rule them all and one bling to blind them. Iced out, grilled up, hunting knowing we'll find them. The E-homes are always flammable and will ignite you. Calling out the games you play just to spite you. I'm still standing. I'm still standing.
All right, what's up, folks? Welcome today to a Friday edition of Moving Around on the Screen, brought to you by
I was on the wrong side. I was on the wrong side. I thought you wouldn't notice. Not looking.
I was like, oh no, we're switching again.
The old switcheroo. That was a fancy intro. I don't think I've seen that one. I liked it.
Oh yeah, I like that one actually. I just don't pull that one out as much, you know.
Oh, it's not new?
Yeah, Didn't you know? I even got that one approved by the 2L crew. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Oh my
No, I don't
God,
keep
yeah.
up with anything.
Oh yeah, check
those
this out. Look,
idiots.
there's even a clip of it. Look, check it out. Oh, that is my favorite.
Wait, put it back up. I wasn't finished. You know, I'm right,
geez.
right?
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of the fleas, where the hell is Tori?
Oh my God. I don't
Tori's
know.
MIA. I think she needs a wellness check. Tori hasn't been on that show since she had the knee surgery or whatever. What happened there?
It is kind of interesting how one of their flocks seems to have just bailed and bailed hard.
Well, the thing is, it's not that she's just not recovered or whatever. She's streaming on her own channel. She's doing her own thing, but she hasn't been back on Lisa's channel in a very long time. Like, what happened there? We got a little fallout. They never talk about it.
Yeah. If we pretend, it'll just go away.
And nobody ever asks. I think it's kind of strange that like the chat's not asking, hey, where's Tori? She's been part of the show for ever. Where'd she go? Isn't it funny how they're always trying to come up with how you and I are fighting? Oh, they're fighting. They're fighting. It's like, well, we're always together. Those two, though, one of them goes MIA and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. But, well, I mean, it's kind of expected too. You know what's really funny today? I had something in my inbox today. Oh, by the way, folks, I'm back. Yeah, baby.
Feeling better? Feeling better today?
I'm feeling a lot better today. That's for sure.
How's your arm feeling? How's your wrist?
It's still sore, but it's not. It's to be honest, considering it's not that bad.
Can you use your mouse again?
Sparingly.
Oh, that's good. It's a little bit better than yesterday. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I still feel like a third grader when I'm keyboard hunting and pecking around at it.
Yeah.
But it's better than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be pretty much nightmarish. Their scenario they lay out though about they go in through your artery in your arm. So they're like, yeah, we did this to control it. They put this seal over it and they pressurize it. And then every 30 minutes or so, they take some pressure off until it seals up, right? But when they send you home, they're like, now you can't put more than 5 pounds of pressure on it. And if you do, like if you fall or push off of it, it may bust open. And if it does, you might die before you get to the hospital. I was like, oh boy, that sounds like fun. Sign me up. Why didn't you tell me that before we had the procedure? Oh my goodness. I mean, they didn't break that one down. I was like, wait a minute. I feel like you left that part out before we did this. Oh, but no, it's better. I have to say for sure. They gave me some answers too. So I just got to finally get them to pay enough attention to work me in and change up some medication. Jesus, man, these heart doctors are ridiculous. But sooner or later,
I'm ready to go down there myself and start pounding on doors and being like, why won't you get him in? I'm not kidding. I'm getting angry.
Oh, well, that's somehow how I feel sometimes too. Well, beforehand when they were scheduling me, I was like, well, I'm not going to call and yell at them because then they're going to run, they might have a reason not to wake me up. You know what I mean? But after that, I don't care. Like after that, we can yell and scream or do whatever. It's all good to go. But beforehand, no.
Yeah.
Man, I want to show people something today that I thought was really funny. Now, I'm sure if you've been keeping up with Shizzy Whiz, Shizzy wrote a wonderful letter to BB.
Oh God!
It was more to. I'm not going to show you the letter. That's not the point of this. Okay, what I want to show you is something that BBB pulled because it was so funny, and it tells you that the letter really hit home. It tells you just how badly Shizzy Wiznut bothers Bruce. Oh my God, this. I was surprised. I was surprised that that he made it, I guess, so obvious. Like when you look, okay, he put together this giant chain letter that was him writing to. Give me a second. Let me pull up two of these. I'm still a little slow on this, so yeah, I'll have to bear with me with it. But there's a before and an after. Now, there's a bunch of parts to this letter. All right, but I just want to show you these two. There was the before Shizzy Wiznut writes, where Bruce, he admits, in this letter, he starts out first of all by telling us he's after Randy's licensure. He's going to the bar. He's trying to figure out who to go to, and they push him in the they push him in the direction finally of the bar itself. So
yeah, they're like, file a bar complaint. Like, quit bothering us. And by the way, I would just like to point out that I deeply resent that I'm copied on this shit. I deeply resent it. I have informed him I don't want to be on it. Stop emailing me. Do not involve me in your weird shit with the bar. Like, I'm not involved in this. I want the Florida bar to understand I am not contacting them for any reason. I'm not in this. Why is he doing this? Please stop.
I feel like it's all a free pass, for us again, because he's going to have a real hard time explaining to a court how we're supposedly cyber harassers when he adds us to every fucking thing that he writes as journalists.
Yeah, I'd like him to show a court where I'm harassing him, where I don't contact him except to tell him, stop. Please stop contacting me. Like, I don't understand. I just deeply resent it. And I'm being 100% serious right now. I don't need to be dragged into your clown show. This is not your clown show. Like, I'll report on it, but I am not a part of this. I don't behave this way. I don't send these crazy emails to people. Like, this is flat out harassment. He's harassing the Florida bar now. I'm sure that's going to go over really well with them.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's never had any kind of consequences for his actions before. Never. You can tell. So he'll never stop. The only time he will stop is when finally he is forced to. Even then, even if he gets consequences and they take away something. I mean, you've seen these crazy fuckers. You've seen one of them's disbarred. The other is quote unquote retired, So
there's another R word I would use for her, but I know how you feel about it. But I'm sorry, it's the first thing that comes to mind.
It's not ridiculous, man.
Nope.
Man.
It kind of rhymes with retired, though.
I don't know. When I think retired actually sounds right, like putting some more tread on that thing. Those lips.
Yes. Retired.
Oh my God. She's been all over this too. I mean, you talk about a bucket of crazy. By the way, Bruce, congratulations to you and the ecosystem, because I'm sure when the bar looks at this series of shit show letters, they're like, what in God's name is this mess? So I'm sure when they see your name, they go running.
Does he really not know how this makes him look? Like, does he not know how the rest of the professional world acts? It's not like this.
I don't think he cares. Like, honestly, when you get down to it, if he can do damage, if he thinks, well, maybe there's a chance it'll work. Look how many useless letters that he's written to lawyers, to YouTubers, and more, and he just continued.
YouTube's lawyers. How about YouTube's lawyers? And they were like telling, please stop emailing and harassing our lawyers at their home addresses.
That's hilarious, by the way, when they're like, oh my God, But this one, so he writes this letter where he's again telling them he called the bar, trying to throw his fit about everything. And after this, Shizzy writes his letter. Now, I want to point something out here. You'll notice. Now, I want you to drink this in, all right? I'm not going to point out, folks, what's different right off the beginning. But I want you to look at it. Just look at it. Drink it all in, okay? All right. Now, after Shizzy writes his letter, he writes the bar back, and he's like, basically, ignore that dude. He's an open alcoholic.
What?
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I have missed something. I have been watching Shizzy for a long time now. Even before we started the Hales case, I knew him. I've known Shizzy for a while. We used to talk about cults and stuff. I've been on Baker's show with him. Like, I've known him for a while. I have never, and I mean never, seen him drink on stream ever. Where he comes up with this, I don't understand. It's not even a joke on his show, really. So is this just flat out defamation?
Well, let's see. First of all, folks, do you see the difference between letter 1 and letter 2? I want to see if somebody in the crowd catches this before I note it, because it's really funny when you see it. It's just, actually, I thought this was flat out hilarious when I finally noticed what was here.
I already know, so I can't guess.
Yeah, you can't throw in on that one.
Dang it. I really want to, though. I want to give it away.
Yeah, well, it's good. We will give it away in just a second.
Shizzy's in the chat. He says, come on, I do drinking streams every day. I've never seen it. I've never seen you do a drinking stream unless you're drinking water or something. I've literally never seen. I mean, I know a lot of streamers who drink and stuff. Like Nick Starro does a drinking stream. Legal Vices used to drink all the time on stream. Never seen Shizzy do this. How could you call him an open alcoholic? And it's just bizarre. All right, no one's guessed it yet?
Yeah, a couple of people have guessed.
Oh, they have?
Notice it. Yes. If you guessed, Shizzy is not tagged in this. He removed him. So he added him. Now, this is Bruce's email chain. Just to really drive this home, he started this, added everybody to it. When people try to opt out, like Megan, for example, wrote him and was like, hey, leave me alone, and just wrote it to like him and she selected exactly who she wrote it to. He re-added all these idiots to harass her.
Just to harass me. And by the way, I just responded to him because he was the only one I wanted to communicate with, just to say, take me off this list. And I don't want to hear from you. I didn't feel that anyone else needed to have that because they weren't the ones sending the email. And so I'm not trying to cause any drama. But he goes and adds them all back in specifically to say, Megan left you off of her response. So in other words, harass her, which they did.
And in that, they left off, when he did that, he left off everybody like myself.
Right.
He just added in the ecosystem.
He only added in the harassers for hire.
So,
but then on this one, when he leaves Shizzy out, though, so that's the opposite of what I did. I was confronting the person I was writing about, him. He, on the other hand, is going to now put this defamation out there to the Florida bar about Shizzy and not include him.
Exactly.
Wow.
Shizzy didn't know that they had written it like about him yet. And I was like, dude, this is messed up. See, that kind of shocked me. When I wasn't surprised, but I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You see here too. Like, this is hilarious because you can just see how salty Bruce is about it. This is him, mask off, telling you how much Shizzy gets to him.
Why does he have to make up stuff about Shizzy? Isn't there enough to complain about Shizzy about that's real? He's kind of an asshole. I understand, going
like, you could have mentioned the helmet.
The helmet. He never mentions the stupid helmet. God, that's the funniest thing ever, and is true. He also doesn't mention the Velcro shoes, which is mockable. I mean, for sure. I mean, how does he leave all the? How does he just decides to make stuff up about being an open alcoholic? I like this part. While drinking alcohol shots and becoming inebriated. I've literally never seen this. I watch Shizzy every night. I've never seen that happen. Now, I can name tons of streamers that I've seen this happen. Jeff's Fuck It Friday is legendary. Okay. Legendary drinking and
oh my God,
out of control.
Flashcast used to be that way. Flash one time, we were on a Flashcast and he got so jacked up that he started trying to play the mic like a kazoo. I was like, what are you? Heard, woo, 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 woo. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, play a kazoo, man. I was like, oh my God. Oh, it was so funny. It was.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that a lot on different streams. Never have I seen it on Shizzy's. It's such a weird thing to say. It is. It's just a really weird, and it's intentionally malicious because it's so obviously untrue. It's so obviously untrue. This is kind of like when the fleas say that I slur my words, that I'm always drunk. I'm slurring my words. And I'm like, I go back, I listen to some to our streams. I'm like, I'm the one slurring my words, not the marble mouth who coughs every 3 seconds. And like, you can't really.
Yeah. You know, I'm telling you, when somebody's mouth is full of like KFC grease and shit, you're like, what the gross, man.
Yeah, they're like gargling with beef fat over there. and I'm the one who's slurring. Okay.
Oh my God.
Michael Lee has a good point in the chat. He says, coming from a guy who was reported to have smoked weed every 15 minutes and couldn't be in court for. Yeah. I mean, that's what his former partner said about him. Interesting. He's an interesting one to go after somebody else for use.
Yeah, hey, Bruce, can I get a witness? Witness. Oh, that's gonna be good. That'll be a fun one to talk about in a minute. There's some the last few. I'm telling you, the last few that have been so insane with filings, with serial killer looking scrawlings that they call. Oh my God!
It might as well be like a letter, like with clipped out letters from magazines, like that.
That reminded me like the Zodiac message. Let's get a Zodiac message. Yeah, let me get one of those.
Yes.
I'm going to pull one of those up and we're going to compare it. The Zodiac cipher. I'm like, what in the what now?
I mean, I almost see. I would feel sorry for Judge Blytho for having to put up with this, but now I don't feel sorry for him because the guy needs to open his fucking eyes. Like, open your eyes.
Well, he can't even open his eyes and read his filings. You know,
I know.
So get this. Today he rejected. Now again, it can be refiled, but he rejected something because essentially he's saying you didn't confer with all parties out here. He didn't bother to read the fact parties were separated in the filing.
And Lynette had been conferred with.
Yes.
And so he shouldn't have denied that, but he didn't read it. So I have nothing but contempt at this point for this judge. I think he's not paying attention. I think he's weak. I think he's a coward. And I think that he is letting these people get away with absolute crazy pants behavior, like pants on fire on the head behavior. And he's taken all his frustration out on the only guy trying to abide by the rules, which is Randy. That's Randy. And he's the only one who's been slapped with a sanction. I am real sick of this judge. So anything they do to him at this point, anything they put him through, I'm going to laugh because he deserves it. Just saying.
It's just all been, I don't know, man. It's been redonkulous. Just watching what he allows in the courtroom, because he talked about wanting order and everything else in his court, and yet the person that was out of control, like they've so far gotten to skate. Of course we keep hearing, well, there's something will be coming down the pipeline soon. When we have the trial that's back online, so if that stuff is going to be back on. And you don't have anything going on at all.
Yeah, this judge is weak. He's weak and ineffective, and he shouldn't be on the federal bench. He's a magistrate. They should bump him back down to wherever he came from because he's not cut out for this. He's not cut out for it. He's scared of being the sanctioning judge. Then guess what? You don't belong on the bench. Part of your job is to sanction, especially lawyers who are out of control like this, lawyers who are using their law license to harass others, to clog your court system. And he sees it happening and he's pissed about it. But the only person he's going to take it out on is Randy. Oh, absolutely not. This guy needs a demotion. Wherever he came back for traffic court or whatever the hell, maybe he can sit there. But he should never be a federal judge. I don't like him at all. Yeah, maybe he'd be all right in traffic court, you know? He doesn't have too much on his plate there. He's got too much. This case is too much for him. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like how many filings. Then get the hell off the federal bench. Really.
Holy shit,
just
this does remind me
go do something easier.
This really does remind me of the Zodiac node. I put them side by side for later.
I told you.
Oh, God.
Handwriting of a serial killer.
Oh, it's so weird. When you see this, you'll be like, oh, my Lord. Like, when I put them right side by side. Let's see what he had to say about Shizzy here, too. By the way, appreciate all you folks being here on a Friday. You know, Megan, too. You know, this is not one of her days, but she was like, yeah, I'll come on here and help out. You know, because I'm not at 100%.
I was a little worried you wouldn't be able to push buttons. I'm here as a backup just in case. And also, Mr. Fox is he's out. He's on his way home actually from a trip, so he's going to be late. And I don't have anybody to have to entertain or anything.
Yeah,
at
you
the
were
moment.
like, let's get on here and hassle some people. Yes, I love it.
I don't have to worry about keeping him up. So I'm good.
It's fun times. That's what it should be. That should be Friday fun times. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But folks, if you would like to say, hey, welcome back, and you tell people we're live, first of all. Second of all, why don't we throw a little likeage, throw a little subscription if you haven't, and if you'd like to go further, throw a little breadstick, you know, because they wouldn't let me eat a drink. Man, I tell you, you know, you're hungry after these procedures when they're like, we have hospital food. You know, they were like, let us bring you a sandwich. I was like, okay, bring me a sandwich. So they brought me what they considered a turkey, just a turkey on bread, right? It was a hamburger bun, not bread. They give me a hamburger bun with like a slice. I was laughing about how awful it looked, you know, because it was like this thin slice of freaking turkey in the middle of it. Man, it was delicious anyway. I was like, oh my God.
You know, my daughter and I were talking about this when she was hospitalized all that time. She was in the hospital for like a week, so she was eating there 3 times a day. You would think that a hospital would be the place where you would get the best, most, you know, the healthy
food.
Yeah. The healthiest food, but it's all terrible. And they did have a salad. She ordered the salad almost every day. It was like a chopped salad. It had chicken and bacon and avocado. So it was like one of the better things on the menu, which she liked. But everything else was like freaking terrible. I ended up Ubering in food, or, you know, whatever, DoorDashing food to the hospital because it was so unappetizing. And gosh, the one place you should be able to get great food for you should be the hospital. Yeah. And what are they feeding their doctors? Absolute trash. I was in the elevator with a doctor who was bringing back snacks for where she worked. She had an arm full of Skittles and Twix and candy. And I'm thinking, these are the people who take care of our health. Are they insane? Like, we're unbelievable.
Yeah, I got in a elevator with one. It was like loading up on Red Bulls and stuff. But man, they were, you know, this is a cardiologist. It was like, man, what's the message there? You know, that's quite the message.
Yeah, they don't seem to eat very well in our medical industry, which is all part of the problem. They also don't focus on nutrition when they're trying to heal you either. Yeah. You know, it's always about take the pills. It's never about how many leafy greens do you eat? No?
Well, I'm just like, man, like, you know, give me some, they were like, oh, you can adjust medication. And we're like, well, adjust my damn medication. Then
do it.
Yeah, it shouldn't take you like weeks to get back in to do it.
No, it didn't.
Let's look at these statements though about Shizzy. Let's see what Bruce actually had to say though. It's crazy. This person, Shizzy Wisnot, is an open alcoholic YouTube host whose shtick is writing long letters like his email and reading them on his YouTube live streams.
And here comes the lie.
You just hear the crying in this, though. While drinking alcohol shots and becoming inebriated. Oh. Even if that is, you know what? That doesn't erase the truth. Like, he could be a just crashed out alcoholic. By the way, do they have something against alcoholics? I'm curious because Bruce didn't seem to have anything against an alcoholic while he was shilling for one, after the pew pew incident.
True.
Yeah, so strange how he picks that out. He was telling me that John Cook was the epitome of truth teller, and that guy was a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, also it's a really illegitimate thing to bring up. If it were true, it's totally illegitimate to bring up. How does that have anything to do with the veracity of his statements? All it does is defame. That's it. That's all it does.
Well, it doesn't say that he lies. It just says he drinks,
Right.
He wrote his emails so he could read it on his show. Oh my God, their shows. Grow your own show then, you crybaby whiny bee. I swear to God.
Come up with some content people want to hear, like Shizzy's letters. You're so uncreative. You're so untalented. You can't figure out how to have a good show. I mean, don't hate on Shizzy because he came up with a shtick people like. I mean, for God's sake, his letters are hilarious, by the way. Love them.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Wish I had thought of it.
Bruce makes me want to write more letters to. I tell you. Like his crybaby antics. What's funny, Bruce, by the way, since you left off Shizzy, I'm the one who told him.
Well, wait a minute. Don't take all the credit. I told him too. I might have told him before you did.
To him.
I texted him right away.
Me.
I texted him and I said, oh my God, I had no idea you were an alcoholic.
That's hilarious.
Do we need an intervention?
I thought about like just tagging him in and laughing at them and being like, but I wanted a letter just to pop out of the blue from Shizzy where he knew about the letter. And Bruce being like, oh my God, my plan was spoiled again. It's so funny though. I left him out. He thought nobody would notice. Like that's the funniest part. Like we wouldn't hit up Shizzy and be like, "Yo, Shizzy, what's up, man?" Because I mean, what this tells me is that he's getting to Bruce. If Bruce would have ignored his letter, then we wouldn't know nothing about it. But remember too, Shizzy was the person that he turned to and asked pretty much for a reference letter when it came to his mac and cheese stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did. He added him to a freaking email, like a crazy email chain.
Wasn't that one to the Connecticut bar? You think he would have learned his lesson already because he copied Shizzy once on one of those nutty things to the Connecticut bar, and Shizzy responded, and he tore him to pieces in that one too.
That was the first letter. That was the first letter writing that he did. It went to the bar. So his original letter.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that because that was the first time I had him on. I was like, that's how I got to know Shizzy. And I was like, this is great. It
was funny.
It was good. It was really funny. And the reaction when Bruce, was running for cover, that was really funny too. Let's see. So he wrote it so he could read it and entertain his subscribers. Oh my God, how dare he entertain his subscribers? How dare he? Oh my God. He hides behind his fake name. Oh no. How dare he hide behind
That's not
a
crime. Anonymity is protected in the United States. You're allowed to communicate anonymously. And God, can you imagine if I could go back and do it all over again? I never would have used my real name ever, or my face for that matter, in any of my online stuff because of this very thing. Because when these people know who you are, they harass you, they harass your family, they go after your loved ones, they go after your children, they try to get your family members fired, they try to get you fired. That's what happens. That's what these people do. So why the hell should he use his name?
Well, there's a fun using your name, though. There's a fun of being like, I'm right here, F you guys. But yeah, I mean, they lead crazy to your doorstep. I mean, you're right. And they do it on purpose.
Yeah. If I had to do it all over again, I would have used a fake name.
They end up like freaking going to the ends of the world to freaking dox you. It doesn't matter. If you do enough stuff online, you will eventually. It is going to happen. They will dox you. Somebody will get you sooner or later, you know, and oh, they're crazy. It just doesn't matter. And when they do, you know, when they do, they bring all that crazy. Sometimes it's better to have it parsed, you know, out a little bit when they know who you are. They get a little of that out at the beginning. I tell you, the funny thing is though, when they don't know who you are, they come up with some crazy lore for you.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's totally stupid. But again, these people are like gnats on the butt of humanity. I mean, they're annoying and they're bullshit and they can do damage, but how much damage can they really do when you keep telling the truth about who they are and what they do? Eventually, it's going to catch up to them.
Actually, what people should have done with like this email chain is just flood it with random things. Flood it with random facts about Bruce, you know?
I'm still considering if I'm going to respond. I might. I'm considering it.
I have to be in a specific mood to ever interact with these idiots, you know, because it is funny. I mean, his reaction got legally lips worked up to the point that we got a barrage of 1, 2, 3 letters coming in. By the
My
way,
favorite
lips,
part is when she said, "I'm a retired shizzy wiznut."
yeah.
She got so angry she forgot to type.
Uh-huh.
She forgot to type words.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of her filing stuff, she should go back and read it too, because there's some pretty funny stuff that she put in her
Oh,
her
that's
last filing.
intentional. That's intentional, Tug. Didn't you know? She likes to make those mistakes in her filing so that her opposing litigants don't know her greatness that's
Yeah.
coming later.
Yeah,
It's
you know, when you write it up
strategy.
and it quite literally says in your filing that the quote unquote harassers you're complaining about. Let me read this here. Listen to this. This is a line here, okay? Actually, this is a couple of lines. It's the May 5th through the 13th, 2025. It says, the second sentence, which you want to pay attention to. Michael Volpe publishes his interview with Miss Frederico's on several forums, including Facebook group What the Hale's Facebook page. Almost immediately, Miss Frederico's becomes the target of harassing comments from individuals associated with Mr. Hale's, including Lisa Weeks, Super Dave, Bruce, and Rich Luthman. That's how it reads. So it sounds like the harassers are.
Well, that would be accurate.
Yeah, it's just so funny because it's like the associates of Jeremy Hales include Lisa Weeks. Like, oh my God, this is really bad. That timeline is a shamble, too, by the way. It is. She put together a document that is supposed to prove her timeline. And holy God, it is a mess. I mean, it is a hot, flaming mess.
I can't bring myself to read anything that she puts out on the site.
I'm not going to correct all of it. Like, the thing is, I'm getting people together and we are correcting it. That way, we are creating a legal weapon to destroy anything that you bring, because you decided that you were going to talk about bringing this against Hales and against other YouTubers. You're going to add shizzy. Okay, well, you try to paint yourself in this favorable light where you leave out all of your harassing bullshit that you do. I mean, everything. Like, she leaves out all of her hodunk hillbilly bullshit, the way she put it together. She pretends that in the middle of May, she started that up as a response to Jeremy Hales. The problem is the screenshots exist. And that's one of the reasons I archive so many things, you know, and I'm not the only one that does that. You know, there are people out there that are much better at just collecting volumes of material, putting it all into filing. And if you don't need it, that's great. But a lot of that, I mean, they just collect masses of stuff. And then later on, when you need it, there's also this weird thing of all the sock puppet accounts and everything else that she runs. I mean, we have archived. God, I don't know, 7, 8. I mean, there were some that were active beforehand. There's an entire list of these, and that doesn't include the anonymous accounts. By the way, it does amaze me too when somebody complains about fake names, and yet the people that they're around, they bury that quote unquote fake page, the fan page. They bury it with anonymous accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They do, absolutely. And you can tie it to a few of them too. Some of their posting habits. If you're gonna take on one, I'm not gonna tell them exactly what their problems are, but certain ones have just you can just knock them out like bam, bam, bam. And we've been archiving.
We don't have to tell them what their problems are. We can just say this: they have a lot problems, and they're very evident.
Yes, you can find.
You're really bad at this,
accounts.
guys. You're real bad. Is all I can say. Real bad at hiding who you are.
So nothing in this email has any relevance whatsoever to the issue raised by my email. How Randall Shuckett gained Florida bar membership despite his criminal conviction and perjury. The Arkansas bar application. Oh my God. Man. By the way, I remember all your quote unquote heroic emails that you wrote. Those where you're like, I'm on the run. I'm hiding in another country because they're gonna get me. I swear. He wants to play himself out like some kind of fucking folk hero, like he's Robin Hood. And then Meanwhile, but that Shockit has a quote unquote journalist on YouTube shilling for him and writing to you to attack me. You're the one who freaking added him to this.
What? You added him and you attack him and you expect him to what? Just sit there and do nothing? What? I mean, this guy he's too much. He can't be known as this stupid.
Somebody actually tells you who I am.
Yeah, now I am gonna respond. You know what? Fuck him. I am gonna respond.
You respond to the bar.
Yeah, I am. And you know what I'm gonna do? Because I don't think Shizzy mentioned it. I'm gonna make sure they know that this guy got in bed with a guy who made revenge prawn of me. I'm gonna make sure that I give him a very detailed explanation of what it was.
No, actually, why don't you put in the background of the guy and everything?
Yeah, I may
the guy
do
wants
that.
if the guy wants to play that game. But for alerting you, he's like, oh man, I let you know, and I get attacked. That should tell the board, the board of bar examiners, and give him further reason to look into whether he lied to obtain a Florida license. They're not going to do anything, by the way. This is all just character assassination. That's all this is. It's just Bruce opening up the floodgates, trying to, delve into his character assassination. He loves doing this stuff too.
Yeah, that's why he's perfect. He's perfect to join the Lickman, Dickey, and Valmet. He's perfect for them. They should form a trio now. Maybe they can all live together in somebody's mother's basement and continue out their harasser for hire scheme, because he's exactly like those two. This is what he does. It's character assassination all day long, every day. That's all he does.
I just like how he's so afraid to put Shizzy into this letter. He thought he would get away with it.
Did he really think we weren't going to show it to him? You really thought that, you dumbass? You really thought that we weren't going to show it to Shizzy? That this defamation of yours here about him? You really thought that? Weird.
What a crybaby. Weirdo,
so weird.
Man. Oh my God. We also found out something else that's really interesting today. It's about the Stark saga keeps getting weirder and weirder. It does. The Stark saga gets weirder and weirder. So we've gotten to the point where Stark wanted BBB to be part of this new thing that's coming up, our sanction stuff. He wanted to be part of it. Now, I didn't I guess it didn't really register on me what he was asking him to be as part of it. I thought he was just asking him to, be there, but no, he wanted him to be a what now? What did he want him to be, Megan?
Actually, I don't know.
Starts with a W.
Oh, a witness.
Yeah. Can I get a witness, baby? Oh my God. Now, what a crazy notion. I mean, to potentially put BBB out there as a witness.
What does he
to
want to be?
pretend.
And why is he's the one volunteering to be a witness in this thing? Like, what is he a witness to exactly? The fact that he solicited this attorney in Florida to be the fall guy for his scheme? Like, why is he entering into this as a witness? This could
I think
be a
he's
big
afraid
mistake.
of what might come up otherwise. This could be an epic mistake.
He does know he's going to be cross-examined, right?
I mean, this is
on the record.
Else. Yes, indeed. And
I would, you know what? I was going to give him some advice. And
no,
you know what? You're on your own. You're on your own.
I'm going to make fun of it and laugh about it. But my God,
I have so many things to say, though. Damn it. It's hard for me to keep quiet.
I couldn't believe that, though. When I heard it, I was like, are you really going to try that approach? Why would you do that? I mean,
I have a theory. I think he wants to be there to be an intimidating presence for Stark.
Yeah, keep Stark in line.
Yep, to keep him in line so he doesn't say anything that is not approved. But there are ways around that. I'm not going to talk about it. Just saying that's probably one of the reasons why he wants to be there. And then also, I would imagine he wants to get some things on the record to cover his ass in other cases. I'll just put it that way.
They play a real dangerous game. They do. I mean, maybe the game will work out for them. Who knows? But, it's real dangerous. It's like, again, it reminds me of that analogy of juggling dynamite. You can go out, you could juggle dynamite as a sideshow, and people might come around and might be like, oh, man, that's amazing. But one day the dynamite might go off, and then, well, it's like juggling chainsaws. I did see a guy one time juggle real chainsaws, not the gimmicky ones. But the real thing, the real meal deal with chains and everything else. And from what I understand, he had a pretty short career of it, Yeah, I heard he had a problem later on.
Oh, boy.
Yep. I thought, oh, my God, why would you do that? And that's the same thing I think about this stuff. Yeah, you can make one hell of an epic show. It can be very entertaining. But for what? And, at the end of the day, BBB really doesn't gain any real positives out of this stuff. He comes off as a petty little tyrant. He's worked himself into a lawsuit. Congratulations on that. But
congratulations. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's made the point, he keeps talking about, again, suing and everything else, but he hasn't been able to control the other idiots and himself long enough not to give people the out. Like I said, everything that he said he's going to accuse people of, well, he's invited us into coverage.
He asked for. He literally sent me emails saying, I can't wait for your coverage.
He's still sending emails.
Still doing that.
He's like,
he wants us to cover this shit that he's doing with the bar. Like, he's asking for this coverage, and then you can't turn around and sue somebody for their opinions on your crazy behavior. You're not going to get away with that. Your own you provide the evidence against what you're trying to sue people for. It's stupid.
Well, and he's covered all of his clients too, because as the lawyer for these folks, he was asking for coverage. So
and
during that whole time,
photographs. Photographs of the child unredacted, which we would never publish, by the way, and we never did. But the fact that he did that, oh well, there goes all your
when he asked for it, and he asked me about what I thought about the mindset of the kid. He asked me, do they not seem happy? So again, they're asking for my feedback on the status of the kid. I mean, he brought that into question.
Yep.
So
He did. The chat's confused. They think that he's traveling to go to this hearing. No. So you the reason why I believe that Scott Stark was given the order from BBB, you get this hearing on Zoom at all costs. At all costs, you get it on Zoom. No in person, get it on Zoom. So Scott Stark and his wife throw an epic fit, and they get a doctor to say he can't go to court. And it was an epic fit about my knee scooter and my cane and my heart and my cataracts. And my doctor says I'm going to have a heart attack and a stroke if I go in a courtroom, even though I was in a courtroom last week and I was in several different places. I can't drive, all of this shit. Right? So then the judge, of course, has to say, okay, fine, you can come on Zoom. The second that order went in, another motion went in, adding Bruce as a witness so he could appear by Zoom. The whole thing was orchestrated so that Bruce didn't have to travel to be a witness in this case. Do you get it? He did it so that he could appear by Zoom. Isn't it obvious?
It's crazy, man. It is crazy to see it come together. And yes, that's exactly what it looked like. It's just like I said, it's a dangerous game though, because he exposes himself to all type of risks. He exposes the people around him, and he is not very good at controlling himself. And yeah, I mean, Stark is a real liability. He very much is. We got to see a little bit of that when he was asked a few questions by Randy. But I think Bruce is that too, especially if Bruce gets worked up. We've seen him throw tantrums, and Bolitho has allowed all his little tantrums. I don't know if his little tantrums will play out. There's also the whole law aspect to it. Again, you got to remember, BBB was so crazy during this. At the beginning of everything, he pretended that sanction hearings, let me pull this up here. He said that they were all a conspiracy theory. I mean,
he did.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, he tried to sell that to everyone. He was like,
he said this hearing was never going to happen.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't a thing.
I kept those screenshots, by the way. He said, quote, "This is a storyline for PR. This case is closed. There is no hearing on any sanctions motion scheduled. That date, the original, that tells you, look how long they've been delaying. It's coming
February.
up it was February. So February the 5th hearing. And we're finally rolling around toward June. But the February the 5th, it was a hearing on the motion for summary judgment, which is moot. He said there's no basis to seek damages for having to spend money to defend a frivolous lawsuit unless you've prevailed on the underlying allegedly frivolous lawsuit and its merits."
Yeah, but you prevail because they dropped it. That means you prevailed.
See, he wants to pretend that dropping people, even if you can refile, it doesn't matter. You decide to keep it around for so many weeks. You have people expend money. They're not supposed to have to just go out and expend money, and rack up costs, especially with a guy.
It is in the plaintiff's favor. It's in the person who you dismissed it against. It's in their favor if you dismiss it voluntarily.
That's another thing I hope Randy brings up, as far as tactics. Bruce is a delayer. He has bragged publicly about delaying cases. So, and that costs people money. It's not just a time. It's a money thing. And he knows that. He absolutely knows that, because he said he wants to destroy Jeremy Hale's YouTube empire.
He has said so.
Yeah, I mean, it was very... I was surprised by some of the stuff that he told his little group of flunkies when he had other people around that could be watching and could be reporting on it. But he He also said it was voluntarily dismissed without prejudice, so it can be refiled. Who cares? That still means you dismissed it. You did it. You know?
Yeah, and in that particular action, it was dismissed in favor of the defendant.
They also, again, they keep trying to conflate going after sanctions as if they opened up a case, you know, like it's some frivolous lawsuit. That's Bruce filed that and Fed one. It was so outlandish for him to talk about what he perceived as frivolous. You know, he went after Ohio, he went after the Fed one, but then he went after this, you know, the thumbnail litigation, which was their litigation. They brought it, but because it's blown up in their face, because they could face sanctions. He was saying, this is funny because he had to take that Megan Fox shot, and I think it's so funny.
I know. It's just, he's so obsessed. It's gross. It's
He's
sad.
like, blah, blah, emergency removal, blah, blah, blah. But Megan Fox will continue to promote it and has plans to cover it live because it creates suspense.
You know, I wish I had the foresight to think that far ahead and be like, oh, you know what would create suspense? Like, really, the truth is, I don't even prepare for my live streams. I'm just like 5 minutes before, I'm like,
just do it.
Well, just read whatever's on the docket and just mess around for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I mean, we play with the chat for a while. I hardly ever do show prep. I wish I did. I would be so much more professional if I did such a thing.
I don't know if I did show prep. Like, I'm afraid I'd be bored. You know, like I myself would be bored. I think all the show prep comes during the day when you're reading up on things. You know, when you're keeping up with the case. I think that's the show prep. You know, it's not sitting around and mic prepping.
True.
Yeah, I mean
that's true. But I mean, I could do a minimum amount of effort. Like, I don't know. Open the documents I want to look at before the show. That would save some time. I'm always beating up on myself for that. Like, could you just open the documents at least? But no, I have to do everything just, by the seat of my pants. But it's funny how he thinks I sit around and plot these things. If he only knew. My entire day is spent running around, doing my errands with my kids, taking them to their appointments, taking them to their sports, taking them to this, doing that, cooking dinner, and then running to my desk to do the show. I mean, I don't have time to sit around and plot like this, like these people do.
No, she barely has time to sit around and huff scented trash bags. What's going on? What kind of world is this?
I am so glad those things are now out of my house. Oh, and I couldn't throw them out because I'm cheap like that. Like, I'm not going to throw out a perfectly good trash bag just because
I get that now.
Bad.
That speaks to me right there.
I just had to put up with it till I was finished with the whole roll. Yep. But I did make Spawn go back to the store and I was like, listen to me and listen good. You find the unscented bags. And God bless her. I think she went to like Lowe's and she got the big size one, like the big box. So now I have like 300 unscented garbage bags. God love her. Makes me much more grateful for the regular bags. I'll tell you that. Every time I pull one out now, I feel a sense of relief that I'm not going to open it to that noxious perfume.
Let's check this out now. I want to show you something funny together. All right. So this is the newest, the newest filing by, well, let's see. I spoke to this Perron.
Oh, Lord.
Opinion.
OPP.
OPP, baby.
With OPP.
Exactly.
Yeah, know me.
Now, this is hers. This is the Zodiac. This is them together. No.
Oh my God. I told you those random capitalized letters were the markings of a serial killer. I told you. Look at the similarities. Killer. Okay, look at the left where it says the map and map is capitalized randomly out of nowhere. Now look to the right Look at the last sentence. There is capital no, capital B for basis, like capitalized letters for no reason in the middle of a sentence. I knew it. I knew it. Oh my God.
Oh, I was like, wow.
Look at how the Zodiac capitalizes school bus, and he spelled it wrong too. B-U-S-S. Who spells school bus like that?
It looks like school boss. But look how he spells annihilating. A-N-I-L-A-T. Annihilating.
Oh my God.
That's what
annihilating.
that is.
It says annihilating.
Oh my God.
There are a lot of similarities here. Oh my God.
It's amazing.
What if she's the Zodiac?
The Zodiac. Oh my God.
Well, the Zodiac was never caught, right? Although I did see a documentary. Where I really do think it was that teacher. I think it was the teacher.
Oh my God.
You guys have to watch that Zodiac documentary on Netflix. It's pretty good. But I mean, honestly, does this not look very similar?
It does.
Even with the scratching out, look at the scratching out and like the water smear drops on the Zodiac letter. You've got the smearing on the left and then the scratching out on the right. Oh, this is hilarious.
That's too good, man. I'm looking for something actually. I was gonna ask Croc to make me a picture of this person as potentially the Zodiac killer.
Oh. Do it.
I've tried. It's my computer's being evil right this second, so we'll give it a minute to respond.
Yeah, so that Netflix documentary about the Zodiac, there was this teacher at the school where all this stuff was happening, where all the murders, and the teacher was teaching the kids a code just like this code in the letters. He was teaching the kids like a cipher. And when the kids that like he lived with a couple of kids whose mom was dating him or something. So they were in his class and he was also living with their mom. When they saw the Zodiac letters, they were like, oh my God, that's the cipher we were learning. It's got to be that guy. It's got to be him.
That's also crazy. Anyway.
I think he died though. Didn't he die?
Yeah. Yeah, that's when they started talking about them being, potentially them and stuff after the death of him.
Of course, right? Because weren't they were all terrified of him.
Yeah.
This
person.
Grok. Could this person be the Zodiac? Hey, Ted Cruz had to put up with the allegations for a very long time.
God, I'm gonna ask it to. I'm going to ask it to compare their handwriting samples. Oh my God.
Do we have any other? Are there any? I'm going to look for some other serial killer handwritings. Let's see. Serial killer handwriting.
Let me see. I'm going to ask it real quick. Let me take these two samples now. Let's see. All right. Taking these two samples, do you think this could actually be the Zodiac killer? It says, well, based on those, it's impossible to definitively determine if this could be. It says the handwriting, it resembles the style and cryptic elements associated. However,
it does.
However, it would take a legal authority.
All right.
I know a really good handwriting expert, I'm sure for $5,000 I could get him to say that. I mean, they got him to say some pretty crazy shit before. Oh my God, man. Now, obviously, this is what we call humor. Bueller.
Do we have to explain that?
Yes, apparently. Apparently.
All right, let me show you Ted Bundy's handwriting in college. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Do we have any of her cursive handwriting?
Well, some of the writing at the beginning of that letter is in cursive.
This is Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's college writing, which interestingly, the thing about Bundy is his handwriting changed drastically over time. So this was his handwriting in college, but by the time he was an adult, he had like a completely different handwriting, which is weird. This is kind of messy too, like kind of messy and like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she tries cursive. It's strange because there's cursive at the beginning of her letter, and then it drops off. Check this out here. So,
God, I can't believe how similar that Zodiac writing was.
I thought when I pulled it up, when I first saw it, that's why I kept saying it reminded me of the Zodiac. This is what I was telling you before. Because it's like, it really does. It reminds me of the Zodiac. And, I'd said that with her last letters, but I never pulled them up side by side. But with the with the misspelling and everything else, it really does seem like the Zodiac. We should take her original letters that she wrote with Judge Grudge and compare those to the Zodiac. Oh my God, I bet those are amazing. Because those are even like wilder. SKI, what he thinks about that. But yeah, in here, she's throwing a fit about Ray being added, saying that Ray, she's never spoken, never had interaction. Well, that's you guys have interacted before. In fact, you had an interaction that we were talking about not too long ago. It was on that revenge prawn video, where you solicited help from Paint Chips. It was on Paint Chip's channel. He liked it. Actually, let me pull this up here. Okay, let me go get this because I do have this. I love keeping screenshots. That's what that's the one thing that these folks hate. They hate the fact that you have kept all of this stuff about their insanity. That's why they go out of their way to target people that aren't in the case. They try to target people that are outside of it because they hope that if they target you enough that you'll quit, you'll walk away, because all of your evidence may go. If nothing else, your knowledge of the evidence goes away.
Yep.
That's a big one. I mean, if they can drive people away, and they've tried. I mean, there have been some real efforts at driving people away. Give me a second. Here is that's the revenge. All right, there it is. I was finding the ones with the likes on them, So now the images above these I cannot put on my channel because I would get my channel banned for it. Let's just say, because it was their revenge prawn stuff. But they had wonderful victim mentality bullshit. So you have LP here soliciting lips. This is on Paint Chips channel. You can see Paint Chips. Again, 4 years in prison. Oh my God. All the stuff he has, that you have a protective order saying that you are not supposed to get people to do this kind of stuff. And look who's right there in it. Talking about you as Michelle. Even though you're Lynette Preston, he refers to you as Michelle. It seems very familiar, doesn't it?
It does. And didn't she just, in her little filing there, her little handwritten serial killer screed, didn't she say that she had never spoken to him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Weird.
And that seems very, I don't know.
Oh my God, wait. I just found something really funny.
Oh no.
Graphologist Anna Corin studies serial killers' penmanship and has put together handwriting profiles for many murderers. This is what she says to beware of if in handwriting. If her analysis is accurate, there are several common factors to look for in a killer's handwriting. Be wary of anyone who uses unusual spacing between words, broken letters, fake letters, unusual punctuation, printed letters, and inconsistent variances in letter sizing. I'm sorry, but LMNOP fits like 3 to 4 out of those like 6 things.
What if somebody has like a million? What if somebody has a name chart that goes like this? Here, somebody put together a little thing here. My name is I go by Michelle. Okay, well, my friends, way back then they called me Mitch. Mitch.
My father called me Mikey and Mike.
I think when they said Mitch, you misunderstood the first letter.
Oh my God. You misheard that.
Yeah, I think the B fell down. My B, it fell down. Look, it's like it's
part was right.
Trying to resuscitate.
But it was more like this.
Yeah, see, that's a B that's laid on its back so much that it's kind of deflated. It's like Here, then we have, hey, Shara, I've been called Lacey. Still to this day, half the people I know call me Lacey. Here's another one. Yep, here's I'm Lacey, not Michelle. Here's another one. Wait. Hi, I'm Ruby. Okay. You're like, oh, well, here's another Lacey there. Here's one of Lynette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis Preston. There's some more Ruby. And, just in case you have a what's in a name. So we were told to, you don't get her name right. Well, apparently she doesn't either. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, she's always like, that's not my name. People call me Michelle. No, not always.
Apparently not. Apparently you don't even call
Ruby,
yourself that. It's
Mitch,
so
Mikey.
strange.
I mean,
it's so bizarre, man.
So strange.
All of it is. But yeah, the witness thing, I got us way off track there, playing around with the handwriting, which we'll look at that letter in just a second. But the whole witness thing, that's what we started talking about. And then we took a little gander at that. That witness thing, man, that amazed me. That tells me that BBB is really afraid things are going to go badly. Don't you think?
Do you think? You think that's what it's about? See, I don't think he has really. I don't think he has a real good grasp on reality.
I think it's a control.
Because if he did, he wouldn't do reckless things like what he did, writing to the bar that way. When he could very well be in front of that same bar for the revoking of his pro hoc vice status, that is still unresolved, and that's going to be referred to the bar if it happens. The same bar that he is right now harassing. See, I don't think he has a very firm grip on what reality is when he does things like this, because he's not thinking ahead to, I may have to face these people in a disciplinary instance. And so
maybe like this, though.
Shouldn't make an ass of myself.
But say you hired Stark, right? And he was supposed to be your face of while you went out there and you harassed these folks. You thought maybe you'd get you a quick payday or more. You've had communications with the guy, of course. He knows a lot, but you never thought you'd get to the point where he might actually have to say anything. Now you're looking at a hearing that not only can expose truth, but it exposes these people to liability. If they get on the monetary hook, what would they be willing to do to get off of it? Like if Stark has a judgment against him, and not just him, remember, he's not the only one in the crosshairs. You also have LMNOP. What would she do if she gets hit with a quite a bit of money there? What might she say? I think it's about damage control, because I think that, I think he has enough control to understand that if one of these people really turns on him, like the game's over. The ecosystem is a fragile little beast.
But he is not going to be running this as a lawyer. He is only going to be there as a witness. And may I remind him and everybody else, there is only one thing that you can do when you're a witness, and that is answer questions. period. You don't get to object. You don't get to interject. You don't get to make an argument. You don't get to do any of the things that he's used to doing to keep control of the situation. So as a witness, what is he going to do other than
Blame
sit
Jeremy.
there and answer questions that he's asked?
Blame Jeremy.
He's
That's what
also
he's gonna do.
probably not going to be able to witness the hearing because he's a witness. He's going to be called when he is called and then dismissed.
Well, it allows him to be front and center. That way, again, they at least know he's around. I'm sure Bruce has made quite a few promises. You know? I'm sure.
Or threats.
Well, we've seen. Well, yeah, I mean that's potentially true too. But we saw the promises that were made. We saw some of that stuff about money and more. You know, with one of the things again, Shara has been very good for is showing us the actual conversations some of these people had. We got to find out about the discussions about money. You know, getting in there again. Jeremy, they saw him as a big piggy bank. They could just bust open, you know, take a big payment out of, and well, run hog wild. The only problem is Jeremy fought back hardcore, and honestly, their freaking their attack was pretty stupid. I mean, 540.08 is a terrible freaking attack line. If they were going to go with something, they had to know that also the trespass 5. I mean, these were terrible tries. They were just off the cuff bullshit. They've also damaged anything that comes down the pipe later on, you know, because they've already tried it, and it really looks bad. It really looks bad when they're bringing in other people like Legally Lips. They're trying to get them in this mess too. They've added them into communications, and it's so bizarre. Give me a second here. I'm pulling up I want to actually read that letter before I run off with it. I did look at it for the comparison, but we didn't actually read the gold mine that it is. Oh man, you have to translate this stuff like it's hieroglyphics, you know? I mean, you do, but it is bizarre that the writing style, again, you have cursive to start it out, then it just jumps to print for what reason exactly?
What was that again? Inconsistent letter styles. Also, what would you say that the force of the pencil or pen on the paper would be from like a light to medium to hard?
Some of it looks like a hard consistency.
Hard
You definitely have
consistency.
medium to hard. Like,
Well, according to the serial killer expert, the harder the writing, the angrier it is.
well, it does look like angry writing for
It
sure.
does, and that you would find that type of very hard writing.
Holy shit! Did she spell Florida with an E? Fluoride. It's fluoride. The Northern District of
Wait,
Fluoride.
and how come it's not capitalized? She's got a lowercase f.
Because it's fluoride.
Look at the difference in the spacing. Look at the difference in the spacing
It really
too.
is an E too. Look at her other E's. It really is an E.
It really is an E.
Oh my God, I can't.
Oh my God. How long has she lived there? She doesn't know how to spell it.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
Also, look at the spacing. Look at the spacing right there in the Northern District of Florida. Look at district versus Gainesville. Look at how Gainesville is all crowded up together. The first 4 or 5 letters is all crowded up real close.
Yeah, and then
but then there's real space between the S
Right
and the
there.
T. Yeah. Like this is
Right here.
very inconsistent spacing. Very inconsistent spacing. I'm going to become a handwriting expert, in particular in looking at the handwriting of criminals. I think I have a knack for this. I can see it already.
I want to find out about the damage of fluoride to people.
I want to know where the Northern District of Fluoride is. Is everybody there? Does everyone there have like a super low IQ?
Well, what's
because of
funny
all
is
the
that would even
fluoride.
be that would be a misspelling of actual fluoride. You know, 'cause there's a U in it.
Right, it's missing the U. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have too much fluoride.
Yeah, you start missing you. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh.
She didn't even capitalize John Cook's last name. It's a lowercase c.
It looks like it's trying to squeeze this little butt. Let me pinch your little booty.
It's pinching. It's pinching. Oh.
Oh Lord. Look at how that's kind of weird with the floating
it looks
disconnected J.
like a 5. Like it was going to be a 5.
Yeah.
Turned into
Yeah,
a
like
J.
a 5 that was put in a car crusher. Oh
And
no.
the spacing between the O and the K in Cook is crazy too. It's like, no, that doesn't even look. It looks like John Cook. John Cook.
John Cook.
Like it doesn't look
that's
right.
amazing.
It doesn't look right. There's something really off about all of this.
Oh, it's hilarious, man.
Does she not capitalize her name Lynette either? Is that a lowercase or is that an uppercase that goes into the Y? I can't tell.
Oh, no. I'm
Lynette.
looking at, oh yeah. Let's see.
Right there. That's a
That
weird
looks
way to
weird. That's
write
a
that,
weird
too.
Y.
Very weird.
Looks like a weird G. It looks like a G that's been broken. You know, it
And
looks
like this is only lignit. It's only one paragraph. So if you think, I'm writing this to the court and you make a mistake, like you spell the guy's name wrong or something, you just get another piece of paper, right? You don't scratch it out to send to the court. But this is like, this is some kind of crazy here. Instead of just rewriting it on another piece of paper, we've got the chicken scratch marks. We got changed to I, who we don't personally know. We is scratched out and I is written there instead. How strange.
It's a killer.
And elderly is capitalized? Why?
Yeah,
Why is
I would not.
elderly?
I do not send stuff like if I make mistakes like that. There's also this weird thing called an eraser, if you have problems. Actually, there's this weird thing called a keyboard.
Yeah, you could just type it.
Yeah.
Look at, oh my gosh, thank you, chat. Look at the Jeremy B. Hale's plaintiff versus John Cook again. Look at the J's. Just look at the J's. Who writes like this?
I feel like this is intentional, trying to change up her writing style.
One J has no cross. Oh, that makes sense. One J has no cross and the other one does. Nobody writes like this. There is not a person on earth who sometimes doesn't cross their J's and sometimes does. If you're a J crosser, you're a J crosser. If you're not a crosser, you don't cross it. Have any of you who write J, when you capitalize J, if you put a cross on the top, have you ever done it a different way? I've never seen that before.
This whole thing is so bizarre.
Oh, you know what? Do you have the handwriting analysis thing handy? We gotta pull that up. I gotta see the handwriting analysis with the J's on the sign. I gotta look at it right now. I'm sorry. I have to go do this. I have to look at it.
Sign expert. I do have to sign expert stuff. I can.
There's something with that J. There's something wrong.
Let me see. Which one is the sign? Just give me a second. Here they are. Okay, give me a second. I've got the 1 minute. I have to feed it over to the right browser and all that. Just give me a second. So you want a J comparison? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I want her writing Jeremy Hale's. Remember the handwriting analysis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
That was done by Jeremy's person.
Yeah, they have the hook.
And then with the side by sides.
I think they're trying to game handwriting, though.
Right, I agree, but I want to see how it looked before. I want to see how her.
Yeah. This is the with the Hale Arpis sign.
Okay, so that's the sign has a small cross on the top of the J.
Let's see. Let's just go here.
Okay.
There's another.
Cross on the top. Cross on the top.
Cross on the top.
Cross on the top. Cross on the top. Very, very. Oh, there. No cross on the top.
Wait.
Of that J. No, there's one. Cross on the top.
Is that her too, though?
Yep.
So there's a no cross. If that is her indeed writing for sure, you know. There's no cross, just like that one on the thing.
And then the one underneath there is a cross. So did she just switch back and forth?
I don't know.
That is so odd. Oh, wait, go back up. There's another Jeremy. Go back up to the top of this one. Right there. That one has no cross.
Mm-hmm. This is that whole, I mean, there's a bunch of
that handwriting doesn't look like the handwriting we're looking at right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. I feel like
look at how much more bubbly. Look at how much more bubbly this handwriting
I feel like we're being,
is.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like we are being game. Yeah. There's something wrong with this whole thing. I need to take all of her handwriting from before and see, because I feel like there's so much. There's so much change just within it. Period. It feels like, like I said, I feel like we're being played.
Very odd.
I need to take it and compare it to her original written letters from that, the first filing.
That handwriting sample we just saw is so much more bubbly than this, and that was printed too. Can you take screenshots of this and that and just put it next to each other?
Yeah. I can. Give me a minute. I'll put it.
Because this looks like a completely different person's handwriting than what we just saw
before when we talked about it. I was like, there's something odd about the handwriting here. Said I feel like somebody's playing a game.
Oh, it's really off. This person with a capital P. What? Oh my God, it's so Zodiac. It's not even funny. It's like she was trying on purpose to make it look like the Zodiac handwriting.
Well, there's some that's, it's not exactly as bubbly. Like there's moments, it's still clear. Like this, for example. There's cursive that looks like that.
Uh-huh. And again, that's more bubbly as well.
Yeah, it's still better, I mean, it is. I'm taking screenshots of it and putting two of these side by side. Just give me a second.
Sean Poe says, "Oh my God, Megan, it says Fiverr."
That would be really funny.
That would be funny if she got somebody at Fiverr to write her handwritten motion.
On Fiverr.
She hired Fiverr. She hired Fiverr.
That would be, oh my God, that would be so funny.
That would be so funny.
I don't put anything past them trying to be like, haha, I got you. I don't trust them for anything.
It is.
Why would you?
Strange.
Honestly. Okay,
it's so strange. Because I don't even think I could change my handwriting that drastically if I tried.
No, my handwriting is pretty easy to spot. I write pretty small.
I just found more signs with the J's with no T's on the top.
So here was that, that sample versus. So when you're talking about it's again a cursive to a print, but still you have.
Okay, but the first cursive. Okay, so the cursive is a little more bubbly. So yeah, I guess the cursive looks a little bit more like that handwriting.
I don't know.
And that, but wasn't there handwriting of hers that wasn't cursive? It was printed that we passed by.
What about that D though? Okay, like if we go with look at this. Like this is a very distinct letter, right? See how it is?
Yeah.
Looks like thread unspooling. You see, she does it every time.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, so let's pull out a D here. Give me a minute.
There's one around line 17.
See, they look like spools.
Oh, there's one.
See there. Oh, that one's more.
There's that one. The one on line 17 is not as much like that, but still, yeah, with the spool. Line 17 around.
Yeah. I mean, they're just spooled.
Stop.
I mean, she does it. They're almost like ands, I don't know. I feel like I'm being gamed here, though. There's just something wrong with it. I need to compare it to her original sample from again. that you know, before she was thinking about any of this, before they were being conscientious about anything. Again, I don't put anything past BBB because BBB is a manipulative piece of garbage. You can say anything you want about BBB. That's a manipulative, you know, and you've got to watch people like that because they could be trying to game you at any time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, I think the easiest thing to do would be to take that sample right here. And like I said, we could take it, put it against her own writing that we know, you know, when she was not aware anything was going on. She was writing all of her own items. And we'll see how that goes. So here's what she says, though. Let's see. This, notice the T and the H are capital, by the way.
Yeah. Again, inconsistent letter writing, inconsistent capitalization. So odd. I just, you don't see this very often. This is not something you see regularly in an adult. And it's got to mean something.
I don't know about
weird.
I just, like I said, I want to compare her writing to her writing. Just to make sure it's her writing. I just don't, like I said, I don't trust her.
I have that 300-page.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the 300-pager.
I have that, and I have it redacted here somewhere.
You could take that. Take
I know where it is.
Side by side. You could ask ChatGPT about it. Grok is stupid sometimes.
Grok is stupid. Grok is very stupid.
Grok gets things very wrong.
Very wrong.
Oh my Lord. I'm like, no, man, please. Like, don't let that be the AI that they put in to try to get us to Mars, you know? Fly us into the sun.
Yeah, right? I mean, it gets bad. A lot of stuff wrong.
Oh, yeah, because people are tagging Grok. People do it as a joke, you know? People tagging Grok to conversations just because it is so wrong. It's funny. Ugh. This says, this in response to the judge's order about doc. Is that supposed to be a 6? It looks like BS. Does it not?
Wait, let me see. I'm on the wrong.
Does that not look like when you're here? Does that not look like a weird BS?
Or B3.
Like it's supposed to be a 63, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
It's hard to say. I, Lynette Preston Michelle, oppose adding Raymond G. Bone Crusher, Bone Brick Jr. because he is an elderly veteran. What does this have to do with anything? Elderly veteran. What does either of those have to do with anything?
Nothing. It has nothing to do with anything.
What does this filing have to do with anything?
Yeah, nothing.
Honestly, I mean, all this is, there's no, remember the judge got out and threw an epic shit fit about having filings that are put in by people that have no basis, where the judge has to become the finder of fact, you know, and this would leave the judge as the finder of fact. There's no law cited. There's nothing in this. This is just I don't want him in there because blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's no legal precedent. There's nothing there. It's an elderly veteran who now that's interesting.
And then she crossed it out.
Uh-huh.
And
she's
wrote
like,
in
we don't know. Huh. That actually is very fascinating. We don't personally know and have never spoken to this parent.
Never?
Yeah, never spoken to. So you've never had interactions. Never. I like how, by the way, if you read through the request for discovery, my God, there's just so many different things.
I have something hilarious to show you.
Handwriting expert.
I have something hilarious to show you.
Okay.
All right. So I just brought up the that 300-pager looking for her handwriting. Mm-hmm. And I found this. And I love this. P.S. Mr. Jeremy Hales and Martha are putting themselves crossed out. Themselves. Themselves. Okay, so in this one, I'm finding that she wrote almost exclusively in cursive.
Mhm.
And it does appear that her cursive handwriting looks much, much different from her printed handwriting.
Yeah, it looks cleaner.
And almost everything she wrote has always been in cursive. So why is she printing now? I mean, the question should be asked. Well, why now? Why is it now all printed? Like, oh, yours isn't. Where did yours go? I was going to put yours.
No, what? Pull that back up. That's not her.
What?
That-
Okay,
pull
hold
that back
on.
up. Pull that.
All right. Put it back up.
You know, let's see. Where that same line part. Blow it up. Or where was it? Like the same part
right
you
here.
had before.
P.S.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, look at the. Let's see. Please, sir, please stop this man and his paramour. Are you kidding me? His paramour? That is not.
Oh yeah, they that's a big joke. They were always using that word.
Her spelling it right.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that right there. Like I can read it. It actually, most of it makes sense. How many typos do you see in that?
I know. And also look at oh my God, there's punctuation.
That's what I'm saying. That's not her, man.
And indented paragraphs. Look at this. Indented
That is not her.
And periods at the end of every sentence.
She didn't write that. There's no way.
Well, who wrote it?
I don't know, but that isn't her writing. That's not her. There is no freaking way. There is punctuation, everything else.
This is weird.
Tortoise is really weirdly spelled there.
Wait, look at the D's. Look at the D's. They don't look anything like her D's. Okay, wait, this one does. Wood up here. You can't see my, why can't you see my, here, let me get the drawing thing. Right there. Nope, that's not it. I need my drawing thing. Pencil. There we go. Right here. That D looks like her D's. But this D doesn't.
I feel like
maybe she only does it on the D's at the end. But you're right. Look at all the commas. Look at it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's punctuation. This is not her. There's no
punctuation
way.
And periods.
It doesn't slant. I mean, there's again, like you said, you got indentions.
Yeah, indent. Look at all the indention for the paragraphs. And look at, I haven't seen oh, well, here is a strange capitalized letter though. I haven't seen a spelling mistake in a while. Another capital K. Look at this. Capital C. Capital K.
Wait, let me see something here.
Weird. I've never seen somebody write in cursive and use capital letters in the middle of a sentence. Does anybody have a sample of Marla Hughes's writing?
That is not her handwriting. There's no way.
But look at these weird capital letters in the middle of sentences again. Don't you think that's odd? Here's another one. Here's another one. Does this say
Well, there's yeah.
Tortious? Tortious rescue.
See, that was where I was like, well, there is tortoise on this spell. Tortugas.
But I mean, you're right. The punctuation is not like her. Now, this handwriting down here, though, this handwriting, the PS actually looks different than the handwriting up here, which is kind of strange.
I'm just wondering if they, different parts of this. I know we looked through some of the other parts, and I don't feel like all of it was written by the same person. It's strange. We've got to go back over those. Those are amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody's got Marla's handwriting. Wait, she
Wait, we do have
did.
Marla. She
Lisa,
is,
you're right. Marla submitted something to the court in her handwriting. She sent that letter. Where's the letter, Tog? Let's pull up the letter. If it looks like this, I'm going to lose it.
I can't remember if she did it in cursive or what. Give me a second. Can't remember what. No, I haven't looked at
Chat. This is definitely not John's handwriting. This is not a man's handwriting. I'm telling you that right now. I have never met a man who writes like this. This has female written all over it. This is too bubbly, too girly for a man's handwriting.
I can't remember what exhibit. Like I said, I haven't looked at Fed 2 enough to remember them right off the top of my head,
Okay, so it was the document. It was recent. It's only been the last couple weeks. It's got to be because it was the one where she wrote in asking for an extension.
Yeah. I mean, she wrote in around 53. Let's see, 53 was her motion to dismiss. So it'd be before that, I would think.
Iris says Ruby's probably the one who uses punctuation. Yeah, maybe Lacey wrote this, or Ruby. Maybe Alexis. Maybe Alexis wrote it.
Oh my God, there's so much. God, there's so many freaking documents to look through in this mess. I'm not sure which one it is right off the top of my head.
All right. Well, I will look for it while I'll see if I can.
Yeah, I'm looking too.
I want to see that. That's got.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck on the idea of it now.
She's the only one I can think of that might have been around to do that.
It feels weird to me. The handwriting thing really throws me.
I agree. It's weird.
I feel like I'm being gamed. That's the thing, And I wouldn't, again, she could have gotten somebody to help her. That would make sense. I mean, her handwriting and everything. If I were her, that would have been the smartest move to make, to be honest, if she would have gotten somebody to help.
How do we jump from 35 to 50? We have nothing between 35 and 50? Huh.
Do it.
In the Fed 2 case?
Oh, no, there's documents and stuff. It's just a mess. Fed 2 is a mess.
It's a mess, huh?
The way the filings are set up and everything. Yeah, there's plenty of filings. It's just, like I said, it's a mess. It needs to be
feel like we're missing a bunch of documents. We're missing all the 40s.
A bunch I didn't put everything in there because I wasn't, I've been dealing with some other stuff. It wasn't really.
All right. You know what? You know where I might find it? I bet I might find it on the Facebook page if I go in the media and look back. It's got to be. It's pretty new.
There it is. I found it writing. I got it.
Oh, you found it. Okay, good.
Yep. Just give me a second. I gotta.
All right. So take a look, folks, at this handwriting.
Yeah. Now this looks like it was scrawled in pencil. So just to note that with it, I mean, just to make that point.
Okay.
I had to make sure it was. Here we go. All right, so that's her writing. It's not cursive. Well, it's a mix. It's like
it is.
Cursive.
You know what? Those F's look very familiar to me, though. Those F's. There's something about those F's that are familiar. It's similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. There's some similarities. It's weird. But she does this weird thing. So Marla does this weird thing where she combines printing with cursive. It's kind of print cursive together. Like a couple of letters will be connected.
Yeah, that doesn't
Then
feel
she
right.
goes right back to print.
Well, no indentions, no. Like again, that could
Yeah,
just
no
be somebody.
indentions.
But usually that's a habit. Like if you're indenting and stuff, that's a habit.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Definitely different. Those
Yeah.
F's look similar to something I just saw, though.
Man, now we got us something.
Now we
to
have a real
start
mystery.
comparing. Yeah. I hate
I
it
mean,
in a way. I love it, but I hate it.
it's absolutely possible that Lynette wrote this and she just has like multiple different styles of handwriting. That's possible. But it's weird. It's very weird that her
Well,
handwriting
the thing
keeps
that
changing.
I mean, we have seen them go online and do all kinds of craziness, and every time that you wanted to find her, you've been able to do. I mean, the giveaway is punctuation. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, she's not a punctuator, and to see that much punctuation says that there is something really wrong about this.
Yeah, because in the newest thing that she just filed that we looked at earlier, she has no punctuation. And also no proper, like this one that we're looking at in the spacing is even more normal. Like, right? There's like here, look, the spacing between the letters, the spacing between the words, it's more consistent.
Shizzy said, "It's an enema wrapped in a parody." Wait. Oh my god!
Like it's pretty consistent, like consistent spacing. But that other one, put up the other one, the new one. It's a mess. This is much neater.
Yeah, give me a second here, because I'm still rolling slow.
Yeah.
Gosh, this is so annoying to be slow at being able to pull stuff up.
And of course, I'm making you keep changing screens. Yeah, this is totally different. Totally different. And I do not think someone's printing can look so different to their... How can that be? But it is consistent that she uses weird capitalized letters in the middle of sentences. Both of these handwriting samples do that.
Well, her handwriting in those letters and other things, like there's a lot of different samples. It's not like everything is just written by one person. She has plenty of written samples in there.
Oh, hey, look, she has indentations. There's indentations here for separate paragraphs.
I mean, that's true.
So that's consistent.
Yeah, but what's up with the punctuation? I mean, look at this. There's no punctuation.
There's no punctuation. None.
That's what I mean. That's the major thing. Like anything else, I could dismiss, but the punctuation really throws me. Commas. I don't think I've ever seen her use a comma.
I've never seen her use a comma ever in typing. I've never seen her use a comma ever.
Now, I mean, there could be somebody standing around telling her exactly what she needs to write.
But with the
we're going to write out the word. We're going to write out the word this. THISNIN.
I can't imagine that she would have anybody though who would have put that kind of time in. This thing is pages and pages and pages long. I mean, I'm willing to believe that it's both her handwriting. I just think that maybe there's a difference in, I mean, this was a while ago. Maybe she's declining. Maybe her handwriting capability is going downhill. I mean, these things do happen.
I don't know. It is a mystery. Hey, can you hold this down?
It's a mystery.
Grab something.
Yeah, it is a mystery. It's a mystery, chat. What do you think? I think it's reasonable that she did write all of these things, but I've never seen... there's a lot of inconsistencies. I'll just put it that way. It's very odd. So when we're looking at this supplemental, the 300-page one, that was done. Oh, when was that done? Let's see. Let's go. Let me go up to the top. Hold on. This is unredacted, so I need to take it off the screen just in case. Oh no, Tug's got his on the screen. Okay, let me go up to the top of mine. This one was put in on October 30th of 2023. So we are talking about a couple years ago. It is now 2025. So she's had, a couple years. It's possible that her handwriting is just changing and maybe her hands are getting weaker or something. So that's possible. But yeah, I mean, there is something strange about it. I don't understand why you wouldn't just type something up on a Google Doc to hand into court. This handwritten thing is very bizarre to me. Does anybody else think? Because if you're typing on a Google Doc, you get automatic spell check and Grammarly and whatever, and like it'll catch your. Why does she do this? Why doesn't she just open a Google Doc and type a letter?
I don't know. I've wondered that, the entire time. I've wondered why exactly.
You know what I
just
think?
Write it down.
I think it's a manipulation ploy.
I do too. Actually, I think we talked about that at one time. We talked about, her wanting to seem, older, more impaired, a lower education level. We also don't have a technology. We have to write you on tissue boxes.
Right.
I'm sorry, sir. Please accept this Kleenex box. It's actually the dollar store brand because we can't afford real Kleenex.
How is she actually putting these into the court, though? Does she have electronic filing? So you're telling me that this woman has written something out on a piece of paper, then taken a photo of it and uploaded it to the docket? Like, what wouldn't it be easier to just make a Google Doc and upload that? Like, she actually had to add steps to do this. She's not sending it in through snail mail, right? So she has to write it down and then scan it or take a picture. Come on. This is too many steps. She's doing this on purpose.
Maybe somebody in the ecosystem is uploading.
Well, whatever it is, it's a purposeful choice.
Oh yeah. Yes, it very much is. Because they could use talk to text.
She could put Google Docs on her phone on an app and type a Google Doc on her phone. Like, you don't even have to have a computer to do it. You can download docs on your.
Well, one of my cousins has a bunch of problems with being able to see, and just quite a few different issues. And she uses just some basic programs, and it does a great job of typing out stuff. It divides up. It actually adds in punctuation. It wouldn't have you writing that you're spoken to a peron, And then you get it right here. Look, to this peron, he is a person. I'm like, how do you have this? How do you have peron and person? And this is
I know. You know what's interesting about that peron? That R is an R and an S. Look at it. It's an R. She made an R and an S out of an R. Maybe she's having vision problems. Because I did figure out that while you were gone, the 300-page supplemental, she wrote that 2 years ago. So it's possible that she's had a decline in that 2 years.
The commas, though. What about the
commas? But that was 2 years ago. Maybe she had.
But we saw back then, even with the trolling and stuff, no commas. We found accounts that she was using.
Okay, but to be fair, all of the online stuff she does talk to text, and if you don't talk in the punctuation, it won't put any. You have to actually say question mark, comma, exclamation point, or it won't put it in there. So it's possible that when she writes, her punctuation is better, but when she talks to text, she just doesn't say it.
Who's what's her name? The lady that they keep saying that Germany caused stroke. What is that lady's name?
Mary.
Yeah. So did you see that Miltoast is trying to interview her?
Oh, geez. No, I didn't. Will he be able to get her on the phone, though, is the question.
That's
I
wild.
would love to see that.
I was like, so let me get this straight, though. It was so much stress to supposedly, this is the allegation, to put her through whatever with Hales, right? But they want to drag her out center stage doing interviews attached to this.
Into this mess. Yeah. Where they claim that we're sitting here ready to pounce on anybody on that side. And so they're going to put her, a woman they claim had a stroke because of the stress. They want to drag her into the belly of the beast.
Yeah. I mean, you see what kind of like crazy people they've recruited into this nasty. If she doesn't say the right thing for them either, holy God, you know?
Yeah. You know what? Everybody, Super Dave, leave her alone. Leave Mary alone. Leave her where she is. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put this poor woman on YouTube to say that Jeremy Hales gave her a stroke. So you're gonna put her in the because she's going to have to prove that statement, and she'll probably end up having to prove it in court. Don't put her through this.
It seems like such a mess there. I'm gonna do some super chats. That's where I'm at. You know, I'm gonna go over that video tomorrow. I'm not like today. There was so much.
Oh
that
yeah,
blew up
we were
today.
supposed to do that, weren't we? Darn it.
I mean, there's no way. When I saw everything that popped off today, I made a list yesterday. Again, you know, it was Legally Lips and all of the sock puppet crazy, the timeline, all of that. You know, we had Fed 147, 148, which 148 will have to be refiled because apparently the judge can't be bothered to read what it actually said on the 7.1. That's so annoying. You know, the Scott Stark stuff, which is ongoing. The Ray Cray, you know, by the way, it is funny too that she says that, oh shit, you know, I was just thinking they've never had commentary or anything, right? So give me a second. She opposes it because Ray hasn't had communication with who? That would be John Cook too, right? Not Lynette and John and everybody, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so explain this to me. You know, I'm curious about this thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, that's weird because I did read the Florida rules today specifically about ghostwriting for pro se litigants. And Florida doesn't have any specific rules, but they have a guidance, right? And the guidance is that you may use a ghostwriter or someone to help you if you're pro se. But if it's an attorney, it has to say on your filing, prepared by counsel. And then if it does say that, all of the duties that a lawyer owes a client attach to that lawyer and that client. And I don't think he can do that because he's been removed from the case. So if he is still helping them and he's not saying he's helping them, I believe that that's grounds for something.
Yeah, until, you know, and when something actually happens, you know, I'll be stunned. But until then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I know. They just do whatever they want because the judge isn't going to do his job.
Because all judges, apparently. You know, the bar is let these crazy wackos do whatever.
Yeah. That Connecticut or Massachusetts bar, whichever one it was, that poor woman in Northport went to, they just gave her the shaft.
Yeah.
It's incredible. They just don't want it. Nobody wants to do their job when it comes to difficult people like Bruce. Nobody wants to keep
collecting their money, and that's ultimately why you have so many terrible lawyers. That's why people, you know, they avoid dealing with these scumbags. Honestly,
yeah. And then the judge has the nerve to say, "I don't want to be known as the sanctioning judge." Good Lord, Alice, pull your slip up. It's showing. Like, what? Why are you acting like this? You're a judge. You're on the federal bench. Put your big boy pants on and do your job.
Well, especially when there's somebody that needs it, you know? I don't care what you want to be known as. Sometimes you need to do it.
It's crazy. How the fact that he admitted that out loud tells me everything I need to know about this judge. He's too weak for this job. He needs to go back to traffic court because he'll be more comfortable there. There aren't high stakes there, and he doesn't have to worry about screwing up in traffic court. But no, you're on the federal bench. You got to take the bull by the horns and be the boss. If you can't be the boss, you don't belong on the federal bench.
Well, the thing that really bothered me about all of that was he found dealing with Bruce annoying and just the limited amount that he's had to deal with him, right? Imagine him trying to wreck your life, but do they do anything about it? No, absolutely not.
Unbelievable.
I mean, when you have people that are like, yo, can you help me out with this? Because this person is fucking crazy. Hey, I've gone through all the steps. I've gotten a protective order. I've done all these things. Well, let's let them drag it out for 2 fucking years and ruin my life in the process.
Wow.
Fucking jokes, man. The whole legal system is a joke. It is
a joke.
It's a joke, man.
And like everybody's like, oh, you can only get justice if you have money. This case clearly shows that is not true. That is not true, because Jeremy still hasn't had his day in court with these people. He still has not been able to show his evidence. Still to this day. It took him 11 months to get a evidentiary hearing in that ridiculous suit she brought against him for the protective order, and he still didn't get to show it because she dropped it. The day that they were supposed to show evidence, she's out. So now he's trying to get in front of a jury so he can show his evidence in federal court. It's been 2 freaking years, and they're no closer.
The sanctions thing. I mean, look at how that's gone. So you have somebody bring garbage litigation, to try to tie you up and cause you problems. They end up trying to throw it to the wayside. After you've spent money, they've obviously done this as a harassment technique. You go in February to have a sanctions hearing, and they have dragged this fucking thing out all the way to June so far. To June.
Unreal.
Yeah, you finally are getting around, and they're still throwing around excuses. This guy's telling this judge, by the way, I have been in a court here. I have done this. I have done that to get out of being there live. And he's like, I've gone on vacation. I've been to the court here. I've been there, but I had to have a scooter. And she will bring your fucking hand scooter then. What a game, man. These people, they game this system, and all these morons let them because they're too weak to do their job. And it disgusts me.
Yep. They're all like this. The bar, the judges, they're all like this. Nobody wants to do their job.
Well, that's why we have so many crazy weirdos that are just out of control.
But funny enough, the judge really got big big for his britches when he was handing down sanctions to Randy, the guy who did show up, the guy who obeyed all the rules. Unfreaking believable. It's unbelievable that he's let Bruce get away with what he's gotten away with. Unbelievable. It's disgusting. He should be ashamed of himself. I find him to be one of the worst judges I've come across.
Well,
and that
it's
includes
the precedent
Judge
they
Grudge.
set too. It's actually the precedent these judges set too, because what they're telling you is if you try to deal with it the right way, and you can't get justice. What does that tell people? They will deal with it the wrong way, and we don't want people dealing with stuff the wrong way. More and more people will deal with things the wrong way. Because, you're basically told, well, these pieces of garbage, they can do anything to you. There is no limit to their behavior. There hasn't been so far. And some of the stuff they have done is insane. You're talking about pulling Yo Pew Pew out on people.
Yes,
you're going to do that? A fucking little kid.
It's been insane. In the Ghazni v. Griffith case, that neighbor did the exact same thing, and he got a year in jail for it in Levy County. So the application of justice is completely skewed. Somehow, in one case, a guy goes to jail for that. In another case, they can't be bothered. And there's no way to say why. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Can't answer that question.
It, well, and it does cost a fortune. Where people talk about, yeah, somebody who wants to do it the right way too. You know, it does cost you a freaking fortune. Jeremy Hale says spend a freaking fortune doing that. It could have been used for anything.
What have they spent? Nothing.
Yeah, because they get to play that game. Oh, we're indigent, we're this, and you get these harassers that use knowledge of the law like a weapon. You know,
Yes.
they have ran off people. Again, this is a lot of people will avoid cases like this because they're afraid of weirdos like that.
Yep.
It's like, man. Anyway, I'm going on super chat. So we're going to rant all night.
All right. Well, I will jump because I've got some stuff I got to get to. But have a great night, everybody.
Alrighty.
Good night,
We'll
chat. Good night,
catch you.
Doug.
Well, we'll catch you when we catch you on the other side of the weekend.
All
We'll
right.
see you. All right, friend, kick you off there. 30 cent by Venmo, just because. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. We have Max Lab. Thank you for the tune there. Tug, such a crazy afternoon. Major document drop. Yes, we had an army of documents falling in. It's wild how many docs are falling in. Like I said, I'm going to try to catch up everything. I feel like I'm being flooded with items. You know, we have, like 148 by itself. The well, let me show you this. So the request for production, again, this will get refiled. That is frustrating, by the way, because essentially the judge was saying, both parties, they weren't talked to about this, but they were separated. You can see it in the document, but it tells me the judge didn't read everything. Like, that's frightening when a judge is not reading everything. And the judge also is telling them to go ahead and file. But we will see this anyhow. Like, their attempts to dodge. Give me 1 minute. There are 10 freaking files. I mean, it's an army of filings with this. Just this one document drop alone, and all of its requests and everything that was attached to it. All of the filings. Lord, give me 1 minute. I'm opening them all. I was going to give you a preview of that real fast just to show you what was all there. And that's just one thing that came up. It's an ocean of documentation. And the point that it's making too, like, it adds in different documents, like the request for production. It's essentially saying, hey, they haven't come off of anything. You need to do something about this. And it needs to happen, by the way. It does. So you had a 17-page document. Let me show you this real quick. You had a 17-page document. Let's put up. Asking about, it was a motion to compel the protection of documents and a motion for better responses from Preston. Okay. Because it's Preston and Cook that are divided off there. Then you have, on that, you have attachments like your first request for production. I do want to read that because, again, it's going to be refiled. It's so funny when something gets kicked and it gets refiled. The ecosystem is like, we won, and it's like, you haven't won anything, So here, you have your request for production for John Cook, and let's see, you have the. Give me 1 minute. There's so many. I'm just flashing them through. I'm kind of slow at bringing things up today, Let's see. Out of those, 148.3 was LP's amended responses to plaintiff's document requests. 4 was defendant Cook's, same thing, amended responses. 5 was LMNOP's responses to 5, 11, and 12. Request for production. Remember when they had all the generic items? Then we have our emails to Bruce Manskin, which are kind of interesting. You have everything requesting document production. Then 148.8 You have your second request for production, 148.9. That would be John Cook's. 148.8 was Preston's. And then you have communications. So you have 10 items that are attached to it. You know, it's quite a bit. I would flash through them all, but again, the 17 pager though is actually what needs to be read. You know, that's the more fascinating. But yeah, Max Lab, and again, props to Max Lab. There are a lot of documents, a lot of stuff to keep up with. You've been doing a good job there. You know, there are people that have been keeping up with timelines and stuff too, which has been amazing. Props to you guys. I mean, there's just so much out there to keep up with right now. So many crazies, so much just lunacy, misbehaving. Thank you for the gifted membership there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you misbehaving. Just me. Thanks for the fun. Is in the chat, passed out in garden last week. Just found out she has stage 3 lung cancer. Hey, prayers to you for sure. You know, that's really rough. You know, when your body betrays you and stuff, it comes as a shock, and then you hear these words, you know, the stage this and the diagnosis that. So prayers with you again. You know, you hang out, fun, forget a minute with all this stuff. That's one of the reasons, you know, all of us that we get together, we can do our thing, have a little bit of fun, and forget stuff for a few hours. But love to you. Prayers with you. SF, thanks for the 5. Those two look like Jabba the Hutt's hands. Things that make you go, yikes. Indeed. I'm a favorites. Thanks for the 6 months there. Sent out a care package for the girls today. Hope you received the email of the butterflies. I sent like to see. Yeah, I actually, I did get that. And thank you for that. I got some packages too. I'm trying to get to the point where, again, I have things I need to photograph from before. And I do appreciate everything that people have sent, more than I can say, you know. It's good too. Like right before I went over to the hospital, the girls got a bunch of like just odds and end care packages. I actually had a delayed package that was for my birthday. And I believe I'd have to look and see who sent it. I can't remember right off the top. My memory's spotty, or I would remember this. But somebody sent in an Amazon gift card for my birthday. And it came that day. So I was like, all right. You know, and the girls, they had something exciting to think about instead of dad's going to the hospital. So that was great. I appreciate stuff like that. But thank you. Favorites too. Stuff like I said, it's much appreciated. Emma, thanks for the 2. I'm glad you got answers for your heart now. Yeah, now I got here's the problem with our medical industry, though. It is getting in. So they told me that, what is that called? Give me a second. I'll tell you what they told me. Just give me a second. So they told me it's an issue with microvascular angiopathy of the heart, you know, which essentially, if you look it up, what this tells you about is it's a condition where the smallest blood vessels in the heart, your microvessels, they're damaged. So it restricts blood flow to the heart muscle. You know, that causes pain. It restricts the oxygen flow too. And over time, that's not good for you. You know, it causes memory issues and all kinds of really bad stuff. But the speed at which our medical industry works now. One of the things with the U.S. medical industry, I would like to complain about this for a minute, is we're always told that we don't have to socialize medicine because otherwise you would never be able to get into the doctor quickly. Well, you can't get into the doctor quickly here, you know? And if you get into them, they do not prioritize your health. It is ridiculous. So they just let you decline. I have literally thought of taking the diagnosis and going over to a PCP and being like, yo, give me this medicine and this medicine and this medicine. For real. It's so ridiculous. You know, they charge enough money, but they just don't prioritize your care. It's, and it, you know, it's not just a state problem. We're talking about every place from Vanderbilt You know, I've dealt with everything from Vanderbilt to United Health and whomever. They're all the same boat. It's crazy. But yes, answers. I am, at least I've gotten something. It's taken 6 months to get to that point when all they had to do was a couple of tests here and there. But so crazy. Anti-flocking. Hello. Thanks for the 5 giftos there. Appreciate that. It's much appreciated. Suzanne, thanks for the gifted membership there. Thank you for that. Appreciate you too. Dwayne, thank you for the 3 months there. Timo Crew. Thank you. Appreciate that. Navy Vet, thanks for the 7 months. My doctor never put me under. I was totally awake and watching the monitor. They went through both wrists, one clean, the other for the stent. Yeah, they didn't put me under, but I haven't taken anything in so long that it made me really tired. Well, it's really weird. Okay, this is a little TMI in its own way, but I thought it was strange too. So what they tell you is, if we can't go in your wrist, we're going to go in through your groin. Yeah, and I was like, what? Do what now? Do not now. They're like, yeah, that probably won't happen, but just in case. So, when they take you back, they prep you, and that's cold. It's not fun. Luckily, they did go in my wrist though, and that was a strange experience. It wasn't painful. I will say the dye that they use though is awful in that specific test. It was gross. It felt like I was choking on it, like choking on fire. It was weird. I've had dyes before with other testing, but this specific thing, maybe it's the way you lay, I'm not sure, but God. But yeah, I could feel them like running that probe up my arm. I couldn't feel it past my forearm, and it didn't necessarily hurt. It didn't feel good at certain places, but I wouldn't say it hurt. You're just aware of it, but yeah, I kept dozing out. It was not a bad nor a good situation. It was just, it was there. But I mean, they did a good job. The only thing that sucks, again, they tell you in the aftermath, don't put any pressure because we go in through an artery, and trying to keep your kids from, like the little one, from not jumping on me or anything is very difficult, because the little ones express their love by, wanting to be around you. They jump on you and, whew, man, I'm like, no, no, please, no, that could be bad. But yeah, it's something. But no, they didn't put you under there. For sure. Janice, thanks again. I got to watch her cats at the hospital where I worked. Took my pharmacy students to go observe. So cool to watch. I even got to watch my dad's heart cath. Yeah, I'm sure that's fascinating to actually get to see. I was just so out of it. Like I said, I haven't had anything in so long. It was like, oh, Ozzy Allen, thanks for the 20 there. This open alcoholic. Yeah, that's what Shizzy got called, an open alcoholic. Meaning you only drink outside in wide open spaces? I'm not sure. That's a good question. It sounds like free grazing, doesn't it? Rhea Rye, thanks for the 2. Megan is here to push Tuck's buttons. Hold, please. Indeed. Glad she wasn't here to put that on. Suzanne, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you for that. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Misbehaving, tossing ye old breadsticks. Thank you for the 2 there. Catching those breadsticks. Yes. Appreciate it. It's Sean. Thanks for the 10 here. At least I can pull these up fast, because all I have to do is roll down, click a button. So it's pretty fast. As Sean, thanks for the 10 there. Glad everything went well. All of us are happy. You're back. Much love to you. I appreciate it. My memory, like I said, I need to get this stuff fixed though, because I can feel it impacting my memory. I can feel it real time. And I'm sure that stuff clears up. It's like brain fog, but it gets immense when, you're talking about months of garbage. It's just very frustrating to deal with them. But that first doctor I went to, what's really crazy is I pushed and got referred to another doctor. Because that first doctor, after he did the physical tests, for heart, you should do physical, like make sure the pumps are working and everything. And then afterwards, you go and check out the circulatory system. You check out you check out all the vascular, microvascular, everything you go through. Well, he didn't do that. He just wanted to give Midodrine, and that's it. Well, unfortunately, with the issue that I have here, Midodrine is not the solution to it. There are a lot of things that need to come together, but Midodrine is not going to fix it. So it's like, if I would have just gone with that, then I have a real problem. K-Mac, thanks for the 10 there. Doctor, patient's fun. So I deal with the waiting to see a doctor time for a treatment plan. Going on Tuesday. Been waiting since April 14th, 2 months. Oh, yeah, I hear you. I hate that for you. I do. For me to get into the test for my heart, I went in April, and I just now got it. So I waited 2 months. And again, I got referred by ERs. They're like, oh, there's a real problem here somehow. And they're like, and what's crazy too is I called today to find out about scheduling. They were like, yeah. We'll get back to you, for sure. We'll call you today by the end of the day for sure. They didn't call back today. But all of Tennessee is ruled over pretty much by one group of heart doctors. They have all come together in this one giant collective, and you got to deal with them. There is no going out of their network. It's wild. It's strange. It's like one giant corporation swallowed up everybody. That was very annoying to find out. Bonnie, thanks for the 2. Newsflash, alcohol is legal in all 50 states. Indeed. You know what, too? Here's the thing with Shizzy. Shizzy writes a hell of a letter. If he wrote that stone sober, if he wrote that inebriated, however he gets that across, he does a damn fine job. So for them to complain about that, some people, I'm not encouraging drinking or anything when I say this. I'm just saying, some of your most creative minds that we have ever had, they left us far too early, and their muse was unfortunately the very thing that took them away from us, substances. So to say that somebody cannot partake and be creative is an absurdity. And again, I'm not encouraging anything while I'm saying that either. Far beyond it. I'm just saying the idea to throwing out there. It's deflection. It's ridiculous. Sheila, thanks for the 10. Breadsticks. Thank you for the breadsticks there, Sheila. That is much appreciated too. Maybe not. What's up? Thank you for the 5 giftos. Thank you, maybe not. I appreciate that. I love your name, by the way, always. And thanks for the gifted membership too. Thank you for that too. That is much appreciated as well. Thank you. Misbehaving, thanks for the 6 there. No show. BBB is making it rain, and then blames the showing of it. Yes, that is true. That is true. It's really interesting to go through that letter writing campaign is crazy anyhow, because again, it starts out, he targeted Randy's licensure, and he throws a shit fit when it's pointed out who he is. You know what's really kind of fascinating about that too? If you read the letter where he responds, he's not saying that any of it's incorrect. Oh, by the way, Legally Lips said that she was going to be adding Shizzy to litigation soon too. Yeah, just to throw that in there. She's going to add him as well. She apparently did not like part of that letter. So she had a little shit fit about it. But yeah, when you look at the, give me 1 second. When you look at the letter that Bruce wrote, I mean, it is interesting, isn't it, that he doesn't really deny. Give me 1 second here. Here it is. He doesn't actually deny doing this stuff. He just says he's an alcoholic, writes long letters. He reads them, drinking and becoming inebriated. He writes them to fill his show with content, entertain his subs. Oh, he uses a fake name. It doesn't say that what he says is lie, does it? What's funny too is he plays this game. He puts journalists, quote unquote, the fact that Shockit has, quote unquote, journalists. So he plays that game, right? But at the same time, when you look at his emails, give me 1 second here. He includes copies going to journalists. So this is what he wrote at the beginning with all this stuff. When he's sending it all out, give me 1 minute. God, this is so slow. I swear. I hate being this slow at doing this stuff. Like I said, I apologize for the speed of it. I just can't move any faster right this minute. But you'll see right here, he notes copies copied are journalists covering cases involving Mr. Shaka. So you're a journalist when he wants to attack, but when he feels that something comes up and he doesn't like what's being said, then you are a quote unquote journalist. You notice how that changes. Isn't that interesting? He's have a real problem, like I said. Them going in and trying to play the litigation game, especially BBB, MP, JC, HG. He's finding all of this in. For him to say, then in the aftermath, oh, no, this is X, Y, or Z now. He wanted you to be front and center for his harassment campaign. He wanted to brag about it. He wanted to bring in his army of harassers for hire. And then when they get challenged, they don't like it anymore. Sheila, thanks for the gifted membership there. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Becky, thanks for the 2. I can see a new shizzy letter out of his email. Yes, he's actually he's added a couple of emails. Like there's a pretty epic one. He needs to read. If he hasn't read everything involved in there, I didn't get to see his live stream today, but he had a live stream earlier today. And it was something else. Bunsen Rocketstone, thanks for the 10 there. Wait, what time? Before or after Shizzy actually sent the letters? Oh, when did he do everything? So the way this happened, again, Bruce put together, he started writing, let me see, I can't remember who he wrote first. He gets referred to the bar after a minute, but he actually writes Attorney Overstreet Johnson, and he gets referred to the bar. They're like, we don't handle this. So he gets referred to the bar and told to make a bar complaint. Instead, he calls the bar. All these idiots from the ecosystem start sounding off in it. You actually have Shara noting, don't write me. And why don't you speak about like what happened with LP or the kid or anything? And of course, he's got to attack her. Got to attack Megan. Got to have his harassers for hire actually attack Megan. But during it, Shizzy, he's been attached to the conversation. Shizzy writes a letter in reply. Now, after Shizzy writes a letter in reply, this is written, the whole you're an alcoholic, but he removes Shizzy. So Shizzy was part of the initial stuff, but then he removes Shizzy. Said, no more Shizzy anymore. So, like I said, first thing I was like, did you see this? Because I know I saw he'd been removed. We established he'd been removed, so I made sure to forward it over because I thought it would be funny to give it back to him. So that's how it came together, though. Resilience Bro, thanks for the 5. Don't forget to buy a box of Megan scented trash bags today. That's right. And while you're at your convenience store, make sure to pick up Megan brand scented trash bags. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, the cat lady. Thanks for the 2. Megan, tell them about the revenge prawn. That's right. That's right. You tell them about those prawns. Those prawns are dangerous, man. You got to watch out. I mean, sometimes they'll come after you. I'm scared of revenge prawns. You know, those things, they become knives. They try to chase you around rooms. Whew. Andre, thanks for the 2. Bruce can jump in a pool of hot, steaming cow patty. He writes like he's already there. TTG, thanks for the 7 months. When you put on the big shoes and the red nose, you can get angry for being called a clown. That's right. That is indeed correct. They don't like it, though. You notice all they do is try to load up people. Instead of sticking to fundamentals with a case, all they do is try to destroy lives. And it's crazy. Under the guise of helping out the indigent. But really, all it's been about is trying to destroy lives. They keep going, too. Jay, thanks for the 5 months. Good to be here. Keep up the good work. And love you guys. Hey, thank you. Appreciate you there. I have to excuse I'm still a little on the... Oh, it is taking me days to shake some of the... Aussie Wombat, thanks for the 10 months there. They always project their bad feelings onto the good people. Love you guys. Thanks for the laughs. Hey, appreciate you there. Indeed. They do all this craziness, projection. Anything that they say other people are guilty of, it seems like they're guilty of, right? Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership. Appreciate that. Thank you, Fallen Hero. Jacksmont, thanks for the 5. JH needs to get LP's old Ohio lawyer to testify how BBB operates, not what LP disclosed. That would be fascinating if that happened. I don't know if any of them would, but if they would, that would be fascinating, wouldn't it? Navy Vet, thanks for the 5 there. Bubbles says Randy's license are in question. Meanwhile, news alert, Bumbles retained his license from an expired 1950s Cracker Jack box. Look what I found, Mom, with this Dakota ring. That's funny. Andre, thanks for the 2. And all I need is Bruce exposing himself. Oh no, vomiting. Yeah, that's everything we need, right? Ray, what's up, my boy? Thanks for the 15 there, Ray. It's good to see you, brother. Sorry I can't stay on the road yet again. So happy you're okay, Tug. Had me worried there for a bit, buddy. Love your fam, Megan Chat. Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, I get it. You know, it's been a weird road. I'm not at 100%. I still have like a ringing in my ears, all kinds of stupid stuff, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So that's good. You know, if they finally get around to fixing it. Shelly, thanks for the 4 months. If he gets it on Zoom, he should at least have to be at his local courthouse. Should not be able to talk to Bruce on the side to direct him. Yeah, see, that's another thing too. You know, they need to be. You need to be able to see them. See, they've been pulling this little charade where you don't see their faces. You know, they're not showing themselves on calls. So you don't know who's at whose house or, you know, whatever is going on, if they're communicating. And that's a bunch of garbage. Give me 1 second. I gotta clear my throat. All right, there we go. Lori, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Lori. That is much appreciated. Thank you for that. Jazz, thank you for the 50 there. Appreciate that. Licky, vomit. Yuck. Yuck. Thank you, though. That's funny. Paul, thanks for the 5. Brucifer is a qualified witless. Qualified witless, not a witness. My bad. They qualified him as a witless. Can I get a witless? Whoop, whoop. That's funny. Oh, I like that. Deborah, thanks for the 10. Since they're doing it on Zoom, if they don't force them to do video, Star could very easily have an earbud. And they always could be muting their mics, putting words in his ear. Yeah, they need to make him be on Zoom. That would be something I really hope Randy pushes to make sure that they're all front and center. You know, I mean, and Bruce, if he's a witness, he won't be there the entire time. So you won't be able to see him the entire time. So yeah, I mean, he will be able to hear and respond. And that's the game. You know, that's part of it for sure. He wants to interject. He wants to try to make certain that they don't get sanctioned. I mean, again, Stark is a puppet. You've been able to see that 100% from his actions. Like, once he might have to do something in a courtroom, you notice, case dismissed. He was never supposed to take the stand. He was never supposed to be questioned. All of these things, never supposed to. But it did happen. You know, it did 100% happen. Man, they didn't like it at all, did they? Panther, thanks for the Panther, my man. I said Panther. Thanks for the vibe there. Don't forget that the letter can be used against nuts over the signs. That's true. I just, like I said, I feel like they game. I don't trust them. You know, I would ask them to make her give a real handwriting sample. Like, you know, I could draw parallel. And if she tries to change it up where you have other handwriting samples, you can see that she's being uncooperative, and that works against you as well. Travis thinks of I've done a lot of in my life, but I do life before ratting someone out. Ain't my way, but I'm smart enough to not get into those situations. That's indeed true. You know, here's the thing too. There are certain people, like, okay, with the Stark situation, I would not have somebody like BBB approach me, tell me they're going to pay me all this money and other BS. They hem me up and abandon me. Oh no. If I were that person, I wouldn't think that would be ratting, you know? I would see that a lot different. But yeah, you know, be careful about that for sure. Bunsen, thanks for the 2. That fluoride is a killer indeed. SF, thanks for the 2. Geez, I might be a serial unaliver. Indeed. I write in print. I don't know if you've ever seen my print style. So if you ever look at it, it's definitely not clean and clear. Queen of the moss bags. Thanks for the 2. There's not a statement, but that is a statement. Thank you for the back and appreciate you. Paul, thanks for the 5 there. Now it makes sense why BBB couldn't find Gainesville. He's in fluoride. He's lost in fluoride. He's still trying to figure out where fluoride is. Indeed. Oh, hey, Lady Linda. Thanks for the 50 there for medical expense. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, one thing I'll say, the best thing that I did that day is we drove up to the front of the building. And when we drove up there, we were actually trying to figure out where we needed to park. Because, you know, parking at a hospital is a freaking maze. Well, they have a valet, but the valet was pretty busy. So, and I noticed something. All these people were asking a valet to park their cars, but they weren't giving them any money or anything, you know, because they're the hospital. It's a different place. So I waved the valet over. You know, I wasn't driving because that's been a mess lately too. Driving all the way to Nashville too. But I flagged the valet over and, you know, again, nicely. And I was asking them about where to park and stuff. And I gave him some money. And, you know, as a thank you. When I did, they have cones, you know, that block off how you enter with the valet way. You know, you're supposed to drive around to do this or that. Well, respecting them, showing them a little bit of respect and being nice. Again, doing something, you know, just common decency for them helping you out. He moved out of the cones out of the way. I was able to drive through, you know, where we were, and it was a lot better. A lot better. And thanks for the 5. Tug, look at your messenger I posted about sun. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to look it up. Thank you, too. I don't look in the Facebook Messenger that often, just a note, too. Just to say, people send me stuff there. I don't use it that often. I check it sometimes, but Facebook's a mess for me. You know, so Jack's mom, thanks for the 2. A different personality took over. Man, maybe that was it. Maybe. Blue Bird, thanks for the 5. Did they enter the right case number? Jeremy said they brought up adding Ray yesterday in the Zoom meeting for Fed Case 1. They seem confused. They may have. I haven't looked at the case number. To be honest, I haven't even looked at the case numbers. So, it could be all jacked up with that too. I need to go over that Jeremy video. It hit right before I was going to the hospital too. I think that might be something to cover tomorrow. ThATuMBRELLAgUY, thanks for the 4 months there. Okay, the word judge. Oh, the TH word, yeah. Okay, TH word judge. Lori, thanks for the 20 there. Multiple personalities, multiple handwriting differences. I don't know. Again, Copperwise, thanks for the 2. Look at the J in Jeremy versus the John Cook in the letter. Yeah, it's actually, it's interesting because there's 2 different styles present just in John Cook and Jeremy. Give me 1 minute. I was going to pull that up and park it up here because it is interesting that they again, they have 2 different J styles right from go. I wonder how much of this is intentional too. Because you have top off, top on, There's this weird print, then cursive, and I don't know what to think about it all yet. SF, thanks for the 5. Maybe 2 people didn't write the signs, but 2 personalities. Well, there's enough freaking names here. Thanks for the 5. Given all the brain cells you killed and parties involved, of course she writes weird. It's all of that Florida. When it says Florida, it's all right. Indeed. Maria Ryan, thanks for the 5 there. The top 2 lines look different than the rest. Could that be Crook's writing? That's possible too. It is possible. I don't know. I need to set them all together and look at it. Again, thanks for the 5. Attention time. I've sent you pics of Son's handwriting expert. A copy of the Sons of Jeremy, only where the J was crossed. I'll look at those and pull them up and see what's there to cover. I need to go over to the messenger and check it. Thank you too, by the way. Jaguar, thanks for the 5. Marla Hughes wrote a good deal over stuff in the early days, huh? That's interesting as well. See, I coming in later, give me an after a lot of that stuff had been filed. It seems like we've been doing this forever, but this case has gone on beyond that. We missed the beginning of all of this madness. We missed the 2-inch pipe, all of that madness too. We've seen some stuff, but not other items. Yeah, thanks for the 5 there. Wasn't John in jail? He went in writing like a man, but I can see him writing like a girl now. Oh no, what would that mean? I wonder. Dirty Hurls, thanks for the 10 there. There's not a statement, but again, that is its statement. Thank you. Appreciate your back. Thank you. Paula, thanks for the 5 there. From Google, yes, forensic handwriting experts can often detect if someone has attempted to disguise their handwriting. Yes. If you have samples, especially, if they've provided clear-cut evidence, and then you can see that they're trying to obscure something, it would definitely stick out. Jody, thanks for the 3 there. Element OP wrote these as she did some at court. That's the ones I would pull out. I would pull out the stuff where she's written reports and everything else. Those would be the major ones I would count on. Because like I said, like some of this stuff, it just throws me. And again, Megan could be totally right. At one time, maybe she did have some punctuation and stuff. Maybe some of it was helpers. I would go with a lot of the stuff that she wrote when she's writing complaints. The complaints themselves. Like if you have police, police involvement, she has to go in, she has to fill something out. That's where I would consider it her handwriting. aka the cat lady. Thanks for could it be Jamie Starr Johnson? The timing of the first handwriting sample could mean she helped write it before they fell out. You know what's really odd? So I saw some new spin to the Jamie Starr Johnson saga, and that was particularly wild because LMNOP is now trying to claim that she didn't have pictures like the interior pictures. She didn't take those. Jamie Starr Johnson took that stuff. She sent a bunch of these things over to Shara, and she gave her the wrong narrative. It was wild. I was reading through one of their chats. I mean, the spin to this stuff is amazing. You have her publicly thanking Jamie Starr Johnson for helping out, cleaning, and other things, and then you have it change up. It's so bizarre. Let's see. She said, the picture came from Jamie. That picture was never posted by me publicly anywhere. I don't allow anyone on my personal Facebook page. The picture was given to him by Jamie, taken by Jamie in my house. She said, I mean, you also had John Cook talking about a process server. He said, quote, we've never refused a process server. And the last one that came to our gate was a couple of weeks ago. LMNOP was not here. That's what I told the guy. I'm not signing for her. He said he'd be back. So is he admitting that the process server that came, he actually did talk to a process server? Remember, there was a process server. There was a discussion about him not wanting to be served. Huh. Jody, thanks for the 3. They also match signs. Yeah, I've seen the matching sign stuff. Now, I've seen where the handwriting samples have been taken from those. And what they did is they more carefully went through with items that, again, hammered down it coming from her. We were just randomly pulling out a handwriting sample from all of the scribbling, that came out of those 300 pages, which was a lot. Number 1, Cat Whisper Ecosystem. Thanks for the 2 months there. Each personality has its own different handwriting. Hence Sybil. Oh man, the old Sybil test. Oh man, I remember that. The book on that. No man. I remember going over that when we got to PhD in psychology, working on that and just having open discussions about what people thought. Those are some fascinating discussions. Mimic, thanks for the 33 months. Let's eat, Grandma. Let's eat, Grandma. All right. Punctuation is important. Oh, yeah. There can be some really bad things that you accidentally say without a comma. It's true. Gamer, thanks for the 2 there. She's so trying to mix up her handwriting. I know, indeed. That's what I feel as well. Yeah. Thanks for the 2 there. Put JC and LP and filing next to each other. I'll have to pull up both of them and just slap them together. I'll have to get both of their handwriting and merge them together too. I'll do that. Thank you too. Janice, thanks for the 10. I think her handwriting will change depending on how medicated she is. Xanax, well, that's true. I mean, you have them, all of that. Yeah, so that'll make you sleepy, cause your handwriting change. I mean, it's true. Different types of medications. You could also have mood. Anything can make your handwriting change. The thing, punctuation can change too. It's just, again, I've never seen. You have to have okay, like it's like this. If I go out, even if I write a document, if I go in and I'd rather not write it, but I text to speech it. Yeah. But when I'm talking, I don't know about you, but I put in commas. All you have to do is tell it comma, or period, and they will add it in. Da 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 da, comma, blah 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 blah, comma, blah 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 blah, period. And It adds it. So if that's something that you utilize a lot, you'll usually take it to text to speech, unless you're upset about something. But if you're getting ready to file something like a legal filing, you would think that would be a big deal, right? That's what I'm saying with the early stuff. Jody, thanks for the 3. I took them to court. Yeah, with the you're talking about with the documentation. Is that what you mean? Or Dart B1, thanks for the 5. I think Marla put together the stuff for that Judge Grudge case. Max Lab commented the same. That makes sense. I don't remember. I would have to look at it all together there. Okay, so actually Max Lab noted too. Thank you, Max Lab, by the way. LP admitted during Levy County that Marla wrote. That would not surprise me. Like, again, some of that writing just doesn't look right. So Shifter Brains, thanks for the 10 there. Because of BBB's delay that he first bragged about, all the eco information was discovered. That's right. That is right. Lynette can thank him for what's to come. Otherwise, it would have all been finished months and months ago. That is true. The Shifter Brains is 100% correct in this. One of the things that Lynette needs to remember is that BBB delaying for all of those months gave Hales the time to go in and to find evidence. They created the cases that they're looking at. So again, if they do end up getting hit, they really do have some kind of consequence for their action. That's where it's going to come from. 100%. Now, MS Coast Live, thanks for the 2 there. Remember 2 PMs around the suns. Indeed, that is true. Maybe not. Thanks for the 4. Max Lab said, check your mail for Megan. I'll have to, that was probably for the handwriting that we were looking for there. Nadine, thanks for the 5 months. No statement, but again, big statement, 5 months there. Thank you. Hey, thanks for the 2 there. John's handwriting is in his jail paperwork. I'll pull that out and put it together there. Thank you too. I'll have to do that. I need to compare both. I think that's a good idea. Mama Bear, thanks for the 5. Did you just say BBB did not get sanctioned like yet, not period yet? Like he has not yet been sanctioned. And we're talking about, the frustrating thing about this is that we have no idea what time period you are looking at when anything will happen. The case Fed 1 is now going again. Now, maybe again, it hinges around the fact that they're waiting on representation, but you still have a judge saying, we're going to stick to this timeline. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. Well, the issue in that is, BB, look at everything he did and still doing, because he feels that there will be no consequences to his actions whatsoever. And that is because nobody has done anything about it. And the idea that something is coming down the pipe, well, that's a great idea, except for the fact they've been saying that over and over. And after so many weeks, it loses any teeth. Unless it is so severe that it snaps you upright. That it won't, like if you're talking about something that, it's a couple of $1,000 off of what Randy saw, that would be nothing. It would mean nothing. This guy didn't show up. He middle fingered to the court. He was like, F you, I'm not showing up. And the judges is set on their hands still taking it. And he's let the case move forward. There are filings being presented. He's saying the time I can't. How do you move forward when you have this flagrant item that is not addressed? That is a piece of court business that is still gone unanswered. And it should be answered. It's crazy. Carolyn, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you, Carolyn. That is awesome. Much appreciated too. Thank you. Hey, thanks for the 6 there. If you compare the signatures to the names of the filings, it's both written by John. See, that makes sense. Like I said, I feel like you got to watch these people, because they will try to gain handwriting and everything else going forward. They know people are paying attention, and they may not be smart enough to do stuff, but there's an army of idiots back there trying to gain. You got to be smarter than the clown car, which is not very smart, but you can't trust anything they do, because they're nasty people. AKA the cat lady, thanks for the 5. It took me 8 years to be diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And see, that's crazy. Cystitis. That keep telling me it's all in my head because I have PTSD and anxiety. That's nuts. That is nuts. Well, I mean, like I said, they were willing, honestly, the first doctor I went to was willing to give me Midodrine and just leave it at that. And I was like, look, this is getting worse. It helps with the blood pressure drop off, but I have vertigo. I have ringing in my ears. My memory feels like it's being impacted. These sound like oxygen problems. All of that sounds like your heart's not pumping enough oxygen. Oh, well, we'll see you in a, X amount of months. No, you won't. You will refer me to somebody, because this is garbage, And if I would have stuck with that, and you never, one of the lessons with this is you never, ever take whatever they say and just embrace it. Unless you feel like it's corrected an issue, you never just sit and languish, because they will let you. They will face no consequences for their actions either. Who knows how many lives that some of these idiots ruin because they just don't care. So yeah, that's awful though. For your 8 years, that's trash. Yeah, I've heard people be dismissed. That's one of the things in mental health that used to drive me nuts, is seeing people not eliminate physical first. I see. When you come in and you complain of specific ailments, yes, there could be a mental health issue behind it, but you need to eliminate physical maladies. I mean, you need to address that first thing. People who don't do that, that's just that should be criminal. Rearrive, thanks for the 2. Jumping his were a problem for Mark's vasectomy. Oh no, I can imagine. Oh, I can only imagine. Oh, hate that. Shifter, thanks for the 10 there. Would hey for y'all to analyze my handwriting. I was trained as a PA. On hospital charts and office charts, can't take time to write clearly. Retirement age 72. I can't read my own writing. Actually, from going in like mental health and stuff, my signature looks like just a blob of nothing. I used to make a joke about it. I was like, I could just write anything here, and I would make it worse intentionally. And after a while, but yeah, over time and stuff. I mean, it's true. I just thought, like, yeah, it's funny when you set the 2 up, and obviously, we're not saying that somebody is a a serial killer or anything. But the handwriting is, it's interesting. And remember, they wanted to bring in a handwriting analyst until their handwriting and their analysts get blown up. Then it's junk science. But the person that they wanted to bring in was somebody that said, I could look at your handwriting and tell at 10 years old you had trauma. It's very bizarre stuff. So, Jack's mom, thanks for the 5. My niece has a fellowship at the University of Alabama to finish being a thoracic surgeon, especially 8 years. She does heart transplants in her 5th year now. That's actually quite awesome, to be honest. That is. And I would like to have a relative, by the way, that were in that game, so I could you could get ahead, maybe get ahead when you have problems too. Having somebody in there, good. That speaks volumes on them. So congrats to them. Congrats to you. That's awesome. That's impressive. Andre, thanks for the 2. I'm suffering from pulmonary hypertension, arterial hypertension. Let me look that up. I'm terrible with knowing everything about something. Pulmonary. Give me 1 second. I know I'm there we go. High blood pressure that affects the arteries of the lungs and the heart. Yeah, so the shortness of breath, dizziness, chest pressure. Yep. Felt that, man. Felt that. It sounds like about the same thing, except my blood pressure goes low instead of high. You know, I don't have so that low blood pressure thing, but yeah, dizziness and all that. Oh, so terrible. Love to you, brother. I hope you get your stuff situated. I hope medication helps with it. Kitty Pants, thanks for the 5. The last line sample looks as if she was wasted and they're wanting to appear more stupid and pathetic to the judge. I feel like that again, that's a good reason to write in something and not to just type it out. I think that does try to send a message. You know, we're poor, we're indigent, we can't afford a computer, which is garbage, by the way. You know, these people brag about their technology. She definitely had a computer, a laptop, she had all that stuff. Niece thinks for the 10. Dude's foreskin is just as crazy as hips. Oh yeah, I believe that. It's diabolical, insidious, wants to ruin people. Lips just bat shite crazy. She seriously needs help. She's subconsciously screaming for help. See, maybe, I don't know. See, here's the problem. She has sued every single person that is ever, and we're talking about clients. You know, we haven't even gone over the litigation stuff. We're going to have to. Like, there's just so much stuff hitting right now that we can't cover it all. And we really need to cover some of those lawsuits, because when you see some of this stuff, when you see what she's tried to do and she's trying to silence it, it's wild. It is wild. I did think it was pretty funny, though, that, again, she wrote, as part of the Shizzy response, she wrote 3 letters, I believe. You know, threatens to sue, says she's going to add Shizzy at Wiznut. She says she's suing multiple YouTubers as well. He was like, are you saying George and Jeremy are multiple YouTubers? Because that's the only people on your thing anymore. Jeremy doesn't want you to drop him, by the way. He said that. So, you know, don't punk out either. I took that timeline you made, by the way, the one that you're so proud of, and decimated that sucker. And I'm not giving you the whole thing. No way am I allowing you to rectify all of those issues. I can just say it is a mess, and a lot of it is a lie. And it's an evil thing, in my opinion. There are some, when you have omissions of fact that are incidental, that are accidental, it's one thing. Intentional omissions to try to make yourself look better, I believe, and again, to further harassment of somebody, to me, that's evil, man. There's no way I'm going to make that better for you. Angela, by the way, sent PayPal. Thank you. $25 there. Thank you there. It says, have some ice cream with the girls this weekend. For sure. I'll try. I need to do something with them. I think I'll be good enough to do something, not major with them, but, you know, a little bit of something I think would be fine. Yeah. And Janice, thanks for the extra 10. Part of my typos from the last super chat. Oh, you're fine. I never worry about time. If I can't make something out, I do my best to. If I read your thing and I can misread sometimes, it all happens. Never worry about typos there. My vision's blurry. I'm reading small type. I mean, capital letters would help, but we can't use them. SC, add, subtract letters. Well, don't ever feel like you had to apologize. I thought you did pretty good with that. You know, it reads fine. You know, there's a couple of places that have typos. But my God, you should see the stuff that I send out. You know, when I'm talking to people sometimes. You'd feel just fine if you ever saw messages that I send to people. Oh, it's the Antichrist, son of Ray. Thanks for the two. On Facebook, they listed 50 plus people she's looking to sue. Oh my God, man. You know, it's funny. I've been coming up with the sock puppet account list, by the way. You know, there are certain anonymous accounts I know are hers. There are they're not so anonymous accounts, maybe we should say, but there are also the accounts that you know were hers. When I say that, give me a minute. I mean, it's wild to see how many of them there are. Like I was kind of blown away by how many sock puppet accounts that she's been running. Give me 1 minute. So she had Douglas C. There was Douglas Smith. Give me a minute. I have to pull all that. I mean, there's a whole file full of them. The ones I'm again, there's more than this. I'm still shoveling these into one thing. Give me a minute there. So there was Ashley Page, of course, Doug Smith, George Brown, Satire Society. There was Tasha Williams, and there were a lot more too. So I'm gathering all of them, but those are the ones I've foldered so far. Now there are others that I haven't foldered yet that have been put together, and there is a giant list of them. I was kind of stunned by how many have actually been put together. Give me a minute here. See if I can find them quickly. I made a list though. I mean, it was quite the project. Like people were mailing over ones where she has statements, and you can tell that they're her statements. There's stuff too. So we may cover these. Well, like we may actually talk about these a little bit tomorrow. But the stuff with Shizzy was, I mean, wild the other night. So she goes over to Shizzy's live stream, right? She starts commenting on it. And the comments on it are just off the wall. Like they are totally off the chain. So check this out here. Look at this. 79 comments from her. 79 comments on this one video. Like, no joke. Look at all of them. Like, this is unhinged behavior. Like, look at it. Like, this is all her under her one account. Can you believe that? This is off of one video. Oh my God. Oh man, oh man, oh man, look at it. It just keeps going forever, you know. Then she went on a deleting spree, but was still commenting while deleting. She's also trying to tell people that she is a genius like you. Oh my God, it's crazy. We got to go over this tomorrow or something. But anyway, I'm going to end here. I'm done tonight. I'm not going to read. I can't set up the redirect tonight. I apologize. I don't think I can do it. Let me, William, thanks for the 10. You both should write to the bar as well. The B would have to openly defame you both to them or let it stand on its own. Either way, it's crazy. We'll show. Yeah, well, it is. It is interesting that BBB. I usually just record and comment. Like I'm more of an archiver. You know, I put together stuff. I don't usually interact with. I don't believe in poking the clowns like directly. I don't interview them. Like, you know, so many of them get up and they talk about how you harass them. And I'm not saying this is a bad idea or anything. What I'm saying is the way I usually do is I let them make their mistakes. Now, it's funny where you have other people because they added all these other people like Shizzy again. Shizzy is a direct confrontation kind of person too. You know, and when you have multiple types of folks that are watching this shit show go down, that makes it a lot more interesting. And of course, I archive all the emails that go through. I keep them for whatever comes next. You know, because again, they keep saying that they're going to sue, and this guy's adding us to all of it. So how exactly do you do that? How exactly do you play the victim narrative while also again inviting people to the game? But anyway, I'm going to end here. Yeah, I'm not going to redirect. I don't think I can set it up today. But appreciate you folks, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.